We're now down to 18 days until the start of training camp for the Eagles. Also, at the end of the day, too, let's not forget something here as well. You're talking what? Arizona, Carolina, like we said yesterday. Also, 19 days until my Hurricanes get on the field for their summer and spring and football fall camp. I mean, we're talking now like college football is right around the corner. So here we are, man. I mean, we're just like weeks out. Next week, I believe Seattle and San Francisco, they show up to the start of training camp. So again, can't wait. Looking forward to it. No question about it. By the way, also, I just looked something up. And not to get into another Jaylen Carter conversation again. So since Howie Roseman has been the general manager of your football team, Suave, I appreciate you super always, man. Howie Roseman has never given a contract extension as general manager of the Eagles in July, August, or September. So this notion that Jaylen Carter's getting a contract would be against the grain. Unless he's going out and he's making a trade for somebody, he doesn't give contract extensions out as you go into camp. You know, there's a few of you in here that believe there's going to be some camp done contract for Jalen Carter. That's not happening. He doesn't do that. And it would be going against his grade on how he does business. He does not give contract extensions in July, June, and August. And then most notably in September. Nobody gets them. You know, the only guy I could find that got a contract extension in August was Doug Peterson. That's the only guy I saw that got a contract extension by the Eagles. So to sit there and think that Jalen Carter and Drew Rosenhaus and Howie are working on some deal now is ridiculous. They're not working on anything. There's no contract extension. So does that mean then there won't be a holdout or a hold in? I don't know. But he clearly has shown you in his history, this guy is not giving contracts out. It's not what he does. I mean, he gets ahead of it, and most of these contract extensions are done in June and July. You don't get those contracts. So that guy's contract is being kicked down the can. And the can's being kicked down the road, I should say. So end of the day here, all of you that think there's some contract coming, it ain't. Unless he goes against the grain. Carter isn't getting a contract. All the nonsense aside, he has a shoulder injury, and that orthopedic surgeon said requires surgery to permanently repair. Instead, he took injections for relief. Rasputin, it was a Band-Aid. All that stuff they did last year by sitting him, he needs rest. And like you said, those injections were going to do nothing. It was a Band-Aid. So it was just a Band-Aid. Let's see here. Look at the cap space. It doesn't lie why he recycles now. James, yeah, that's correct. Carter, Howie doesn't give deals out now. He's never done it. The Carter contract has been the white whale we've been anticipating for years now. For years? Really, it's actually only been since, last year? Sills, what position are you looking at with preseason a month away? Kyle, actually, we're going to do some cool things today. Who makes the Eagles? My top 25 birds rankings from 25 up. Your top 25 football players. We're going to do that. We're also going to take a look at Vic, and we're going to talk a little bit more about his defense, because the defense this year is going to have to really carry the mail at the beginning of the season. Okay? So make no mistake about it. Yeah, I just wanted you guys to know that at the end of the day here, okay, there's no contract on the horizon. There's actually some people in here that believe that Howie's getting ready to cut a deal. He's not cutting a deal. He doesn't do deals now. I think he will hold on because Rosenhaus doesn't want to be negotiating against the deadline like they have during a franchise year. Plus, he wants to get ahead of Cooper and Q. Well, here, I'll tell you something too, DFW. Two things happened this offseason that are very un-Howie Roseman-like. Trent McDuffie set the number at corner. Now, again, Q and Cooper were not eligible. So he really didn't get outdone there. But he got outdone on that Simmons deal. He clearly got outdone on the Simmons. I think they were waiting anyway on the Hurts deal to see if Jalen can play in this offense. I think that was by design. But he got caught with his pants down on the Jeffrey Simmons deal. Okay? Seals, are you friendly with Nevin Shapiro? Jimbo, no. The guy stole from people, and he's a cancer. Absolutely not. The guy's one of the most reprehensible people in the program's history, and was the demise of the program during the early 2000s. The guy's a scumbag, and I wish nothing but awful things for him. I think that's good. A good outdone, though, Sills. Howie had questions about JC before the Simmons deal. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but I want people to understand something here. There's no contract coming. Okay? There's not. Now, that doesn't, and by the way, the priority is clearly going to be shifted next offseason, depending on who plays well. Everything that was said at the press conference, signing current contracts, i.e. Carter, and came in with a ridiculous asking price after not getting his injuries repaired. Look, Drew Rosenhaus doesn't give a shit what 2025 looked like. He sees his player making the Pro Bowl. He got another tier for him to be able to negotiate, especially on that fifth year. Drew Rosenhaus thinks he's coming from a place of position when it comes to value of his player. There's no doubt when it comes to the rights, the Eagles have that. But value of the player, Drew Rosenhaus believes he has the leverage in the value of the player. Every single guy that you've been going after, whether it's a Myles Garrett or it's somebody else, maybe even a Max Crosby, Jaylen Carter's name has been involved in that. Now we know why. Dallas Goedert was not listed as a top 10 tight end by coaches, executive scouts, nor was he named as an honorable mention I saw that. Well, he's not. He's not. He's not a top 10 He's not a top 10 tight end. How can you be a top 10 tight end in a bottom 10 offense? I mean, make that make sense. How can you be a top 10 tight end when you're not in a top 10 offense? Right? All right. So we're going to play a game here. And who makes the Eagles? Who makes the Eagles 53-man roster? And here. So you have to decide how many players you're keeping per position to equal the 53. Can't keep them all. Okay? And you have to go by value of position. So this ain't going to be as easy as you think. So first and foremost, out of the gate, you've got to keep your specialist. So there's three. You've got to keep Jake Elliott, Braden Mann, and your long snapper. So there's three. Okay? Now you're down to 50. So let's start. So let's go to the quarterback. How many quarterbacks are you keeping? And who? Hurts is one. Dalton, McKee, or Cole Payton? Last year, you kept 3. Who goes? Who goes? So quarterback, I say it's going to be Hurts, McKee, and Cole Payton. There's 3. Now you're down to, now there's 6. Okay. Running backs. How many are you keeping? How many running backs? A year ago, you kept 3. Barkley, Bigsby, and Shipley. Keeping 3, correct? Or are you getting rid of Shipley? Okay. You're going 3. Okay. Running back. Remember, this has got to add up. It's got to add up. There's 3. There's 9 positions. Okay. What are you doing at wide receiver? Who makes the team? And how many are you keeping? Bro, this has got nothing to do with under contract. This is who makes the opening 53-man roster the first week of the season. It's got nothing to do with under contract. Who makes the 53-man roster? You can't keep them all. Okay? Once again, this has got nothing to do with who's under contract. You can only keep 53 men. Okay. Numbnuts? Well, someone's going to go. We'll find out who. How many running backs are you keeping? 3 or 2? You got, if you go 7 wideouts, someone goes. How many running backs are you keeping? So you're going to keep 3 running backs. Okay. That's 9 players now. Wide receivers. How many are you keeping? 6 or 7? So here's your wideouts. Devontae Smith, 1. Mekhi Lemon, 2. Dontavian Wicks, 3. Hollywood Brown, 4. Now after 4, who are you keeping? Darius Cooper, Quez Watkins, Britton Covey. You're keeping 6, maybe 7. You can't keep 5. You got a brand new passing offense. So you're going to keep 4 wideouts or 5? Who's getting cut? Hey, guess what, LJ? Hey, dickhead, it's got to add up, fucko. Again, guys, this has got nothing to do with contracts. This is to do with 53 men. Plain and simple. Nothing to do with contracts. How many wideouts are you keeping? How many? Let's say with the new offense, you keep 6. And here they are. Devontae Smith, Dontavian Wicks, Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, Mekhi Lemon, Johnny Wilson, and Cooper. That's 6. So, 6 wide receivers. That's 15. Okay? How many tight ends are you keeping? How many tight ends are you keeping here? Goddard? Stowers? Are you keeping 4 or are you keeping 3? What are you keeping in a tight end? Remember, it's got to add up. I say you're keeping 3. Now you're down to 18 positions. You've got 18 positions filled. Okay? And I think your tight ends are Goddard, Stowers, and the blocking tight end, Munden. Is that his name? I think Mutt, your boy Mutt, Johnny Mutt. I think Calcaterra's waived. You can't keep Calcaterra. He's out. So there's 3 tight ends. Let's go to offensive line. How many O-linemen are you keeping? A year ago, you kept 10. So, here's who I think you're keeping. Mulata, Dickerson, Jurgens, Steen, Johnson. There's your 5. You got 3 more positions. Or excuse me, 5 more positions. So, Markel Bell, Fred Johnson. Now you got 3 more. Who gets cut? Already got Steen. You got 5 plus Bell and Johnson. That's 6. You got 4 positions. Okay? Who you keeping? Got your 5 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got Fred and Markel. That's 7. You got 3 more to keep. Let's see. You're going to keep the kid from Georgia. You're going to keep that kid from Georgia. That's 8. You're probably going to keep Drew Kendall. And here, Mulata, Dickerson, Jurgens, Steen, Johnson, Fred, Markel Bell, Drew Kendall, Michael Jordan, and Cameron Williams will be your 10. So now you're at 28. That's 10 O-linemen. So you're keeping 28 on the offensive side. That's 28 guys. Remember, it's got to add up. 53 guys start a football season. Here we go on defense. Who do you keep on the defensive line? Are you keeping 8 or 9? I'm thinking you're going to keep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9. D-line. That's 37. And here they are. Jaylen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Jomo, Brian Young, Bernard, Jonathan Grenard, Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith, and Arnold Ebiketie. Now you're at 37. How many linebackers are you keeping? Okay. One. Hold on. Let's see. How many linebackers? I say you're keeping Campbell, Bond, Trotter, and Munden. That's 4. Now you're down to 41. Now, your corners and safeties. Your corners and safeties. I think you're keeping Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Reek Woolen, Keely Ringo, Jonathan Jones, and Tariq Castro Fields. Now, let me double check that. I'll take that back. You're keeping Woolen, Epps, Makuba, Q, DeJean, Carter, Wisniewski, Ringo, Jones. That's 9. You're at 50. So, you got 3 spots to deal with. Where do you add more in? Wide receiver? You got 3 spots. Double check here. 3 in special teams. 3 in quarterback. That's 6. Running backs. That's 3. That's 9. Wide receivers. You may keep 7 there. You're right. Dalton might be the guy. 6. That's 15. 3. You might keep 4 tight ends. So tight end, you might add 1. Receiver, you might add 1. And I would say quarterback, Andy Dalton. Here's who's not making the team now. Damian Pierce. Johnny Wilson may not make the club, or Britton Covey. Elijah Moore will be expendable. Quez Watkins will be expendable. Miles Hinton will be cut. Will Lampkin. By the way, your D-line, we got to kind of take that back a little bit here. Where's Ty Robinson in this mix? Does Ty Robinson make the team? Here's your D-line right now. Carter, Davis, Ajomo, Young, Bernard, Jonathan Grenard, Hunt, Smith, Ebikadi. Where's Ty Robinson? Are you cutting him? Are you cutting him? Or are you... So you're going to cut Ty Robinson to keep the kid that's never played ball, right? Are you cutting Britton Covey? Don't you need a punt returner? Okay, so you're cutting him and keeping Robinson. Like I said, this has got to add up. So you're cutting him. The Nigerian guy's being cut. Is that right? Not used to this, bro. Wow. Yeah, no, someone's got to go. Okay, so then you're cutting Ty Robinson, right? Or are you going to go lighter in another position? It's got to add up. You've got to come up with 53 guys. So are you cutting Ty Robinson, Zion Williams, Zion Wilson? Your linebackers are set. Munden, Trotter, Campbell, Bond. That A.J. Epineza, he's cut. You're keeping Ebiketie, right? Well, what are you doing with Cole Wisniewski? You just drafted him. Are you cutting him? So who's making the club here? So Carter's cut. Michael Carter to make room for the rookie. So you're going to get lesser experience in the secondary. Is that right? Sills, you cannot be claimed off a practice squad per the international. Okay, so they're cutting him. They're going to cut him. Okay. Listen, I get it. It's got to add up. And you're going to have tough decisions to make here. Like here, Elijah Moore will be here. Here are the guys that are going to be cut. Elijah Moore. Andy Dalton. Britton Covey. Let's see. Quez Watkins. Hinton. Lampkin. Kendall. You got to make a decision on Ty Robinson. Gabe Hall gets cut. Ja'Cory Bennett gets cut. The guy you traded for. Mac McWilliams gets cut. Keely Ringo could be cut if they keep Michael Carter. Remember, folks, you can't keep all of them, like you say. It's got to add up to 53. So let's add it one more time. 3 quarterbacks. McKee, Cole Payton. Actually, it should be Jalen Hurts, Andy Dalton, and McKee. Cole Payton is a non-factor. That guy wasn't that good in college. Like, what redeeming thing did you see about the player in college playing Division II football? Like, I'm curious. Is there a Division II? North Dakota State is not Division II anymore. But, I mean, okay, sure, you're going to keep him because you drafted him. So Dalton is going to be the odd guy out. So there's going to be 3 quarterbacks for sure. Your new running backs, you're going to have 3 there. That's 6. Your wideouts are going to be Devontae Smith, Devontae Smith, Mekhi Lemon, Dontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown. Are you going to keep Darius Cooper over Elijah Moore? Probably. There's 5. You got one more. Britton Covey or Elijah Moore? That's where the battle's going to be between Elijah Moore and Britton Covey. Who's better in special teams? You'll probably keep Covey. There's 12. O-lineman, you're going to keep 10. 1, 2, 3. There's 5. You'll keep Bell, Fred, the Georgia kid, Jordan, and one more, Cameron Williams. The rest of those guys are cut. Tight ends, you may keep 4 because they want to threaten the middle of the field. So I'm going to say they're going to up that position at tight end and keep 4. They're going to keep Calcaterra. So there's 29. Your defensive line, Carter, Davis, Ajomo, Nolan Smith, and Grenard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got to keep one more. Ebikadi, Hunt, there's your 53. I don't know what you do with Cole Wisniewski. Does he make the team? Jacorian Bennett's cut. AJ Epinenza, he's cut. Carter and Ringo, you're going to decide there. Jonathan Jones, Jacorian Bennett, and Mac McWilliams will battle that spot out for the final roster spot. Tariq Castro Fields will be cut. Not that easy, is it? Moore will probably be cut because he doesn't play special teams, but he's outperformed all the homegrown guys at camp. Elijah Moore, again, that's probably so. When you get off the first 2 units, you got to be more of a special teams guy. What possible value could you possibly think you would get with any of those guys? They're going to be waived. Well, he didn't prove that last year. And personally, I think they're going to use that kid, Mike Jordan, as that swing guard. The guys who were in jeopardy of being cut: Miles Hinton, Calcaterra, Drew Kendall, Darius Cooper, Andy Dalton. On defense, Ty Robinson, for sure, Gabe Hall. AJ Ebenenza, there's no way that guy makes the team. You don't have enough room. You've got Hunt, Nolan Smith, here, especially at your edge. Your corners, Q, Woolen. Your backup corners as of right now are Jonathan Jones and Keely Ringo. Whew. Man, is that a fall off? Holy criminy. Like you said, I'm not looking for Pro Bowlers, but when you go from Darius Slay to Isaiah Rodgers, that's not that far a fall. That is a colossal fall if one of those guys doesn't perform or gets injured. Your depth level on your football team is not what you think it is. Think about that for what I just said. So Woolen and Q are your corners. Pretty damn good. Your backups are Jonathan Jones and Keely Ringo. And in your Super Bowl year, you had Darius Slay and Q and Isaiah Rodgers. That's not even remotely close in the room. I mean, that's not even in the same ballpark. Howie will play games by hedging bets on who he thinks he can sneak past waivers like he always does. Here's something else too, Rasputin. If you're the new offensive coordinator, are you making a pitch to keep more wideouts to try to cover for some of the production and maybe 4 tight ends? So are you looking to keep 7 or 8 wideouts and 4 tight ends and maybe an additional back with this new offense? Remember, Jeff Stoutland's not here to battle for his O-line guys, where they probably were. Do you know how this works? So here's what will happen. You'll get the roster of players, and they'll go around the room. Wide receiver coach, how many guys do you want to keep? And he'll come out and he'll go, I'll tell you what, I really like Devontae Smith, Dontavian Wicks, Marquise Brown, Mekhi Lemon, Johnny Wilson, Darius Cooper, and I'd like to have Elijah Moore. That last one I'd like to have, that's the guy that they're going to underline. Then Nick will go to Chris Cooper. Who do you want in your O-line? Because that's the big volume position. You're talking 10 or more guys. I want Mulata, Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, Fred Johnson, Lane Johnson, Markel Bell, Drew Kendall, and Michael Jordan and Cameron Williams. By the way, you notice what's not on there? Some of them new guys they drafted. What are you going to do with the Georgia kid? Who gets cut? Cameron Williams, Michael Jordan, or Drew Kendall? That kid you got from Georgia, you keeping him or you've cutting him? Hold on here. Look at this. It's got to add up, dude. So I love you talk shit in the offseason, but you don't know how the depth chart will look. You shit on a hold on. Pick 53 guys, jackass. That's what this exercise is. Pick 53. What are you not getting about that? You can't go into the game one with 60 dudes. Pick 53 guys. It's a simple exercise. By the first week of the season, you need 53, dude. This is not who you like, who you don't like, who should stay. This is about what fucking guys do you want to go into game one against the Commanders with. Plain and simple. This is not even about talent evaluating. This is about who do you want? It's got to add up. You don't understand that. I know you don't, Prince. You got to take from one position or another position to equal 53. And coaches have to make their case on who they want. What are you not getting? Shit in the offseason. Bro, 53. Pick 53 guys. What are you not getting? Hey, it's wild that you can't even follow along, some of you, with this simple exercise. Who stays and who goes? You can't tell what the depth is? You tell. Bro, the depth has nothing to do with who starts on game one. Who are you going to keep to add up to 53? Bro, you are numbnuts. Tell me how players aren't making the team at the same time the team has depth problem. Dude, you are, wait a second. So do you think you were as deep as you were when you won the Super Bowl in 24? When your corners were Slay, Q, and Isaiah. Now you're Tariq Woolen, Q, and who's the backup? Jonathan Jones. You think you're deeper now? I'm not going to have a debate with you then, dude. Like I said, okay, that's what you can't even do a simple this guy can't even do a simple exercise on how many fucking players you keep for you to be able to go into a 53-man roster. It's because you don't want to cut some of these guys. Who gets cut? What are you not getting, Prince? You can't start the season with 60 dudes. What are you not understanding? Get this, Hollywood. Are you keeping Drew Kendall or are you cutting? Are you keeping Drew Kendall? Or are you cutting Michael Jordan? Who are you keeping? What are you not getting? You're going to care about your depth. The game is all about attrition. That's how they won the Super Bowl in 24, dude. It's a 17-game season. Every team goes through injuries. Stills is trying to teach you what GMs go through. Correct. I'm trying to figure out what position I should be deeper at. Do I need any more O-linemen because of what happened a year ago? And do I need a fourth tight end? What should I do? DFW, some of these guys don't understand what the general manager has to. This is a game of numbers. This is a game of numbers. Got nothing to do with anything else other than where are you want to. How about this? Let's see if you guys can figure this out. What position do you think the Eagles should be deeper at? Should they be deeper at O-line or D-line? Last year, you kept 10 offensive linemen. Last year, you kept 8 D linemen. Where should you be deeper at? Can you do that exercise? O-line, I happen to think he's right. But do you have the people in there? Seals, do you need 10 O-linemen when you're not a dominant, when you're not run dominant? That, to me, is another question. All of these guys that they drafted, do they fit what they're trying to do? You might want to be deeper at that position to try to figure out. Get this. Every team goes through this. No shit. Depth, it's hard to judge players. You think they're not good depth pieces, but that's not the point. Projecting. I'm asking you, what position do you think they need to be deeper at in building a 53-man roster for the Commander game? No matter what, Prince, that decision has to be made. And you're not going to get that answer when you don't play in the exhibition season. And it's only the organized team practices. So your question is going to be how he's gut feeling. Okay? I mean, every team goes through this. No shit. Sales, tell me what you've seen, what we got. Tell me what we don't have a good shot to compete with. Listen, I don't think this offensive line depth is very good. Outside of your front guys, Malata, Dickerson, Jurgens, and I'm going to get into Tyler Steen in a minute. And Lane, Fred Johnson, Holland Pierce, Drew Kendall, Michael Jordan, Markel Bell, we don't know. But the rest of these guys have not shown one aptitude on being able to be a replacement for anything in the future and is a viable replacement with an injured offensive line that you had a year ago. Those guys aren't very good. Or at least what they've shown so far, they haven't been very good. You're not deep in your O-line. Just because you have bodies. Okay, I just switched to what? Have any of those guys shown, even under Jeff Stoutland, that they could play? You got me now. He doesn't know how this works. Wow. Bro. Man. Talking about backups aren't good. Tell us something we don't know. Okay, wait a second. Did the backups, was that a problem last year for your offensive line that you said was so banged up? It was a massive problem, wasn't it? So do you think you might want to address that now and be a little deeper to try to have more bodies to try to be able to overcome that? Crying about depth is what makes a fucking football team, guy. Get this. You see this, dickhead? If you don't have Oren Burks, Isaiah Rodgers, or Fred playing the way they did in 24, you don't win the Super Bowl. This year's offensive line depth is the weakest I've seen in quite some time. Dude, it's a 53-man roster. Who the fuck are you keeping? What are you not getting? What are you not understanding? I guess so. I guess so. Man, you have no idea how a football team is built. Not all of you. A lot of you in here do. But man, I'd say about 20% of you in here have no idea how a football team is built. When you have a game for the Commanders, you've got to determine if you're keeping Michael Jordan or if you're keeping Drew Kendall on your opening day roster. Pick one. Like, what are you not understanding? And by the way, guess who's making that selection? Chris Cooper and not Jeff Stoutland. Think you got a problem with that? You got to cover your trenches. Plus, some of your players don't play special teams, which makes them not as valuable. Teams don't throw a dart at a roster. Your O-line is good, but injury-riddled and injury-prone too, correct. Did he cut the long snapper 2 out of the last 3 years? I don't know. He may have. Sills, if you know teams don't have a team 100% as in every whole field, every depth piece filled, all NFL teams have some sort of weakness. No team, yes, agreed. That's why, Cody, you have to determine, do I keep more D linemen to cover maybe with more by committee? If I'm really good at one position, do I have to be deep there, like rotating? Sills, with age and wear of our offensive line, is it totally fair to criticize our depth at that position? It's going to be an issue. Whoever's ignoring that is a moron. Jimbo, you know what's crazy? You guys in here have been telling me all offseason that the offensive line is injured. And now you're trying to tell me you don't know what the depth of the O-line is, Sileo. Well, where was it a year ago? And you addressed it with 2 draft picks late. I mean, where have you addressed it? It's wishful thinking on getting back to being healthy. Why would you keep offensive linemen that were no impact whatsoever in your offensive line a year ago. Why would you do that? Let's see here. Just even with more depth, the season is over with injuries to the O-line. Jalen ain't playing hero ball, especially not without AJ. O-line has to be dominant. Okay, I get all that, Curtis. As you could see, it's every single time that we ask you a simple question to some of you, you think it's an indictment on your fucking team. Dude, every football team, as Prince says, has to go to 53. And you've got to determine whether you think you're deep or not, or whether you think this player's better or not. You got to make a decision on who you're keeping. And with the limited practice time you have, it's a gut feeling. You're leaning on Howie, which is not a bad thing. I'm not really indicting any of the players. You've got to get down to 53. You go to camp with 90 guys. Okay? Listen to what he said. You didn't have it last year. You didn't have it in your D-line, and you didn't have it in your O-line. Is it that fair to say? You didn't have depth in your O-line and D-line. You were 20th in rushing and 22nd in run defense. You weren't deep last year. It's a game of numbers. Correct. I mean, you're not understanding what the decision the GM has to do by the first game of the year. Actually, by Labor Day. How many days, Kyle, until Labor Day? Okay? You drafted 2 O-linemen, one in the 4th round and the other guy in the 5th round, and you signed Grenard. Okay? That's addressing your depth? We'll see. I can't believe this is that difficult for you. And listen, when you got to try to figure out what 53, hey, DFW, look at these guys. Thanks, Kyle. 58 days until Labor Day to figure this out. What 53 stay? Okay. Of course I like the kid from Miami. That doesn't mean he's Lane Johnson. Every team has to go through this exercise. How many times when you see Hard Knocks, this is a great take by DFW. You're damn right. We're doing Hard Knocks here, and you don't know it. This is what Hard Knocks is based on, what we're doing right now. I've been part of this decision. I actually like the kid from Georgia, too. I don't know why he fell that low. I don't. You talk about this like the Eagles fucked up something. How am I what? You talk about this like the Eagles fucked up something and are the only team who has roster decisions to make. What are you talking about? I'm asking you, who makes the team for the Commander game? What are you talking about? Look how butthurt this guy just got when you've got to cut people like Ty Simpson and guys you thought were going to be somebody on your football team. Are you going to keep players Are you going to keep a guy that never played football over Ty? Or are you going to cut him? I'm a bitter old guy asking you who's going to make the roster for the Commander game. Man, I talk about moaners and criers. You can't even do a simple fucking exercise without moaning. And I knew it. Sills, Toth was better at center last year than Cam. I don't know about that. Okay? I don't give a shit about the starting offense. 53 guys. Your starters weren't enough a year ago when you got blasted by the 49ers. Sills, man, can't make this shit up this offseason. Hey, dude, you can't make this up watching what these people get it. We only care about the starters. Well, what happened last year? Your starters underperformed. And when you try to move people in, you had no one. Come on, LJ. Sills, ignore the snowflakes. I have no clue why they can't have a constructive conversation about the shit O-line depth on this team. They're old and they have a majority injury concerns. It's a factor. You got to be kidding. I know. Hey, dude, what's crazy is, okay, what's crazy is I just did. Who makes the team? Who gets cut? I mean, all right, here. So here's who's getting cut. Andy Dalton, Elijah Moore. I think they're going to keep Britton Cup. I think they're going to go 6. Wicks, Lemon, Smith, Brown, Cooper, Wilson, and Covey for special teams. Watkins and Elijah Moore out. I think they're going to keep 4 tight ends. Goddard, Stowers, Katera, and Munt. O-line, I think you're going to keep 10, maybe 11. Mulata, Dickerson, Jurgens, Steen, Lane. Markel Bell, Fred Johnson. That's 7. You got 3 more spots. The rest of these guys will be cut. I think you're going to keep Cameron Williams. Okay? That's 8. There's 2 more. That means Jordan, that's 9. And now it comes down to Hinton, Lampkin, and Kendall. Pick one. You only get one. Hinton, Lampkin, or Kendall. Who are you keeping? For the final offensive line spot. Okay? Who are you keeping? Deepest team in the NFL. Here's what he says the deepest team is in the NFL. On your O-line. That you said was injured all year. Mulata, Dickerson, Jurgens, Steen, Johnson. Here's the backup. A rookie and Bell, Mike Jordan, Drew Kendall, Holland Pierce, and Fred. Okay. Probably Mike. Kendall. I say Kendall too. Here's who's getting cut on defense. You're either keeping the foreign kid, Bernard, or you're cutting Ty Robinson. Or you're cutting Munden. Are you cutting Munden? Or are you cutting Bernard? Are you going to go 11 D linemen or 10 D linemen and 3 linebackers? Who are you cutting? Does Ty Robinson deserve a spot on your roster? Gabe Hall's cut for sure. Okay? Well, that means you're cutting him. Okay? Well, that means you're cutting him. Okay? Okay, you're cutting him then. Okay? Sills has seen more depth at the women's locker. Women knocking on his locker. Dorm room door. Thank you. Sills, in your day, how often were you benching 2 to 3 times a week? Hey, Kimberly, I would say in a 5-day, in a 7-day, probably twice. Heavy and then reps. I would go 3 sets of 500 pounds. I'd work my way up. Curtis, I'd go 145, 215 for reps, 315. I'd do 405 for 6. Then I'd do about a 450 for 1. And then I'd get up to 500 pounds and I'd do 3 sets of 5. Probably 3 sets of 5 at 500 pounds. That was the most I was kind of in there doing, 500 pounds. They are destroyed. They are. I probably did seated press 475 for 3 sets of 5. Please name O-line depth around the league, Hollywood. There is, dude. There isn't. But I think you also had Jeff Stoutland picking those guys. Let's see here. What was travel like back in the college days with team sales? No, we had charter planes at UM and NFL. We all had chartered planes. We didn't fly like with normal folks. We got on the runways. The Cowboys had their own plane. American gave the Cowboys their own airplane, and we would charter entire airplane. Bench press becomes less beneficial. Yes, it does. People are delusional about this isn't a Hallmark movie. Yeah, listen, he's a non-factor to me. Are you really going to give that kid a roster spot? Fuck no. B. Young, Z. Wilson. Dude, that's not how you do it. You've got to go purpose. That's not how you build an NFL roster. You look at quarterbacks. How many QBs you keeping? We're going to keep 3. How many running backs? 3 to 4. How many receivers? 6, 7, depending who you are. Tight end, 3 to 4. O-line, 10. Defensive line, 8, 9, could be 10. Linebackers, usually 4. And corners and safeties, between 9, 10, depending on what you're looking at in special teams. That's how you build a roster. Wisniewski making the practice squad can play. Well, I mean, he's drafted by Howie. I'm assuming. Get this. Wisniewski being drafted. Someone's getting cut. Jacorian Bennett. He's making the team. Because Howie drafted him this last year. Don't be shot if Ringo's ass is out of there. Now, Ringo is a corner, And Wisniewski's a safety. So Wisniewski, does he make the opening season roster because of special teams? Wisniewski can play special teams. Jacorian Bennett can maybe play special teams. What does that mean to Jonathan Jones and JT Gray and them dudes? Plus, you got to worry about Makuba's health. He's always injured. Vic said Coop's cornerback days are numbered. You mean nickel or slot. And to move to safety will be good for Philly for future contract negotiations. Yes. Seals, give us your too early 53-man roster. Oh, no, I just did it. Here's who I think makes the team. I just did this. Here's who I think makes the ball team. Right here. I think Hurts, Dalton, and McKee. No, excuse me. Hurts, McKee, and this guy Cole Payton. Those are going to be your three quarterbacks. You're going to keep three running backs. You're going to keep Barkley, Bigsby, and Shipley. That's 6. Receivers. You're going to keep Devontae, Mekhi Lemon, Dontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown, Darius Cooper, Johnny Wilson, and you need one more. 6. You need one more. So here's who's getting cut. Here's the guys. Lemon, Wicks, Smith, Brown, Wilson. Who are you keeping? Cooper, Britton Covey. Here, you've got 6. Devontae, Lemon, Wicks, Brown, Wilson. You need one more. Between Elijah Moore, Darius Cooper, Britton Covey, or Quez Watkins. Who are you keeping? Who are you keeping? You need one more. Comes down between Elijah Moore, Darius Cooper, Britton Covey, or Quez Watkins. Who are you keeping for the 6th guy? The rest of those guys are being cut. Do you keep Covey because of special teams? See, Moore can't play special teams. Covey can play special teams. I'll probably keep in Covey because he can also be a kick returner. The odd guy out, and the odd guys out in the passing attack are Elijah Moore. And Elijah Moore, Darius Cooper, those guys are going to be – that's going to be a tough decision to make. Who helps me more on special teams? Get this. Sills is doing with the facts here. Who are you keeping? Pick a guy. Pick one. Dooming? Being cut is dooming. So wait a minute. You're going to keep 8 wideouts? So that means you're only going to keep 2 tight ends and 1 less O-lineman. Is that right, Jason? Is that right? Jason just thinks you're okay, Jason, not a problem. You want to keep 8 wideouts? Where are you taking that away from? Your O-line, or your tight end, or your quarterback, or your running back? Special teams comes after the fact here. All right, Jace, who are you taking that position away from then? If you want to keep 8 wideouts, Jason, if you want to keep 8 wideouts, what other position on offense are you taking away? O-line, tight end, quarterback, running back. Where are you getting the other 2 spots from? Oh, you said you can't. Okay. So you're keeping 6. All right. That's why this is so hard to figure out. Okay. Can't keep 8 wideouts. All right. You can't keep 8 wideouts. So you got 6 because you got to have 10 O-linemen. I think the decision is going to come down between quarterback and tight end on the offense. I did. And this is a good take by Prince. Prince, why do you think the offensive line was more of a trend that they kept more O-linemen? Because they valued Vic. Are they going to value Chris Cooper as much in his first year where he's going to keep 10? Or does Nick go, we're keeping 9 because we want to keep 2 tight ends or 4 tight ends? Like if you're in the building for any length of time, get this. That's a great one here. What are you doing with Calcaterra? Are you cutting him? Or are you keeping 4 tight ends? Which, and to Prince's point, they never kept 4 tight ends. He's right. They traditionally only keep like 2. So are you going to keep 4? That's why this exercise is harder than you think. The tight end position worries me. Okay, so let me go here. Goddard, Munnet, and Stowers. So you have basically, Curtis, with what you're saying here, you basically have 1.5 player with 3 players there. Stowers can't block, and Munnet can't catch. And you have Goddard. Wouldn't you rather go this way? Goddard, Munnet on short yardage, and Stowers. Doesn't that make more sense? I think Calcaterra, or keeping 4 tight ends. That means you got to take a position away if you keep 4 tight ends. That means an O-lineman has to be cut. Another O-lineman means you're keeping 8 instead of 9 or 10. You're going to keep 9 O-linemen instead of 10 if you keep 4 tight ends. Now, see, this traditionally depends on need. 26 players on offense, 22 players on defense, 5 listed starters. Here, you're going to keep more offensive guys than you're going to keep defensive players. Okay? Remember when you cut them, they go on waivers and are exposed to being picked up by any team. This is where you find out how important that team is to your team. It's nothing personal, just business. Completely, that's correct. That's, again, everyone, you know what? Hey, DFW, isn't it wild when you start bringing it up on who's going to be cut? All of a sudden now you go from 90. See, most of the people that we've seen this offseason, you guys are looking at the 90-man roster. Well, that's got to get down to 53. I mean, you've got to get down to 53 guys. And it becomes a numbers game. And it becomes, what positions do you think? Hey, I like I said, I think that offensive line position is a very, very interesting position. I don't really think after your starting five, you have really good players. Now, the rookies, I don't know yet. Okay? Get this. Look at LJ here. Dude spent the entire offseason bashing players. Now you're saying we will lose good. No. I never said you're going to lose good. Once again, folks, you don't like the fact you've got to cut what you call good players. This is a 53-man roster. And, dude, I would wish that you would grow up and stop being 7 years old with 18 different names. Everyone can tell it's you by your posting and the way you talk. Stop being a fucking 4-year-old. Act like a human. We sent you a link to come on the program. You bailed on that. Stop being a 4-year-old. This guy is like the biggest chick. I haven't had chicks stalk me like this since my dorm room at Miami. And her name was Kim Nasserini. Honest to God. Sills, when the league goes to 18 games, yes, I think the roster size will increase. Probably to 60. And I mean, probably to 60. Man, I'm telling you, Sills, it's bad, man. I mean, look, every football team, your guys are right. Every football team has to go through this here, and this is the decisions. And by the way, Latin Inferno, I think they're going to go to 2 buys as well. Let's see here. Sills, I can live with players who are projected to cut. I really just want to keep Andy as a mentor. So you want to keep four quarterbacks, okay? So what position are you taking away to keep the 4 quarterbacks? SS. This is, okay, I don't think that's a bad idea. What position are you taking away then to keep Andy Dalton? So wideout, tight end, O-line, running back, quarter. We can't keep quarterback because you want to keep 4. So who would you go? So you think Howie's going to cut the kid he drafted? No way. Okay. And by the way, I don't believe they're keeping 4 quarterbacks. They're going to keep 3. They're going to cut Dalton. Okay. I mean, guys, you see how tough this is? You've got to determine, like I said, I mean, you got to determine if you're going to keep Dalton or you want to keep 7 or 8 wideouts. You got to cut from other places. Eagles brought in so many wide receivers to stash Lemon on injured reserve for the first 4 weeks. That would be a disaster if Lemon is on IR the first 4 weeks. That would be an utter disaster for your wide receiving core. You're going to send Devontae Smith into the first month of the season by himself with Dontavian Wicks and who else? Who else? If you don't have him out there, if you don't have Lemon out there, you're probably going to then keep Moore. So you're going to go into game 1. If Lemon is on IR, you go into game 1 against the Commanders with Devontae Smith, Dontavian Wicks, and Hollywood Brown? To try to cover for AJ? Whew. They had his players before he even drafted Lemon. Like I said, if Lemon is not there, how do you not look at your wide receiving room and go, so I'm going into this year with Devontae Smith, Dontavian Wicks, and Hollywood Brown versus A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jahan Dotson. And some of you in here actually think that's an upgrade. Is wild. All GMs are making sure they don't get caught with their pants down. The Eagles were hunting the waiver wire and asking players to come out of retirement to play defensive end last year. Yeah, because they were getting annihilated on the perimeter. It's not an upgrade on paper? Okay. Let's see here. It's also tough because last year's player performance doesn't necessarily translate to this year. Too early to properly project. No. It's not. Because here's the issue you have. Well, how are you going to have more of an understanding of where your roster is when you don't play exhibition football? You don't really have more than 12, 13 days of two-a-days, if that. And you have these organized team practices and you don't really play your starters in the preseason. How are you going to know? Based on what, knee jerk? How you would know where you are. Even going into September. How would you know? You don't practice. You don't play. You practice a little bit. How would you know where you are? Where are you getting your evaluation from? Practice? You're not getting any game performance. How many times have you heard Vic Fangio say those organized team practices are not real football? Seals, Hollywood Jackson Brown is caught for 1,000 yards or hasn't since 21. Yeah, he was with the Ravens. And still was shitty with Mahomes throwing in the ball. He's going to be a non-factor this season. Let's see here. Lane told us. Interesting. Devontae Smith is most likely going to miss a game or two. He's tough for his size, but he's going to be double teamed. I hope he holds up because the wide receiver room is kind of suspect. Dude, here's something that Emmanuel Acho said, and I don't know if I completely agree with this. This is not really my take on him, but here's what Emmanuel Acho said about he doesn't really believe he's a number one wide receiver, like a first-round draft choice. He thought he was overdrafted. Here, I don't think Mekhi Lemon is a first-round talent, but in a weaker wide receiver class, when there was a dearth of top wide receivers, Carnell Lake ends up going top 5 overall. Now, Mekhi Lemon gets overdrafted, and that's really probably going to be used against him in the entirety of his career. And that's Emmanuel Acho saying that on Lemon. I don't know if I agree with that, but I'll tell you what, that's not a good sign you can't get through OTAs before you end up getting injured. Now, look, do guys get hurt? Yeah. But my problem was his comments. You know what my problem was? He said he struggled with the playbook. Here, let me get that exact quote. That he had a hard time picking up the Eagle offense. I'm picking up the Eagle offense. Up the Eagle playbook. Here's the quote. Mekhi Mekhi Lemon has admitted that the Philadelphia Eagle playbook is much more intricate and challenges than he experienced in college, and said that his initial understanding of it has been very difficult, and it's taking a lot. Now, look, he's had some time, obviously, to read the playbook, and hopefully he ends up, that's not that easy of a deal. And this is exactly what OTAs and minicamp. How many times did I try to tell you that what they do is they oversaturate you with plays, and they try to see how much that you can retain. So is that uncommon? Not really. Not everybody's Q and Cooper, dude. Chills, why do you feel the DB's depth is weak this season? Isn't it better than last year? Plus, I see Johnson as a much better backup as well. Okay, Prince, here. Prince, in your Super Bowl year, you had Slay and Q and Isaiah Rodgers. 2 years from that Super Bowl, now you have in your secondary at corner, you've got Tariq Woolen, Q, and either Jonathan Jones or Keely Ringo. You think you're upgraded? Do you think you're upgraded? I'll ask you. You may think so. You think you're better as a secondary at corner now than you were your Super Bowl year? With a guy who was cut. Okay? I don't think Woolen's not going to be an upgrade from Adoree Jackson. But you're not an upgrade from that Super Bowl season. And your backup is further away as well. But hey, that means this too. This exercise was more about who's making the 53-man roster. Okay? See here. So let's go here. I think Woolen will soon. Oh, yeah, that's right. Hold on. To LJ's comment here, Woolen was a free agent, not cut. You're right. He was a free agent. They didn't pick up his contract after his rookie contract ran out. That would be the equivalent of doing this. Letting Q or letting Cooper walk out of the building and not giving him a contract. That's correct. He wasn't offered a contract after his rookie year, who, by the way, led the NFL in interceptions his rookie year. And the Seahawks didn't re-sign him. I mean, guy led the NFL in interceptions, and Seattle didn't give him a contract. And the Eagles only gave him a 1-year prove-it deal. West Coast offensive playbook is a different animal. The wide receiver is on the hook with communication with the quarterback. Yes. Okay. Yes. What's the over-under for days until WIB puts out a poll if the Eagles should sign Arnold? As a matter of fact, I got that down here. I saw something with Terron Arnold. By the way, you know what's really wild? Nick Saban is the Pied Piper in this. Former Lions cornerback Terron Arnold does not need to wear a GPS device as the condition of his release. Florida judges ruled. It says much of the stuff in the indictment by the prosecutors is suspect at best. So much so that Arnold today, this morning, was in Houston for a physical with the Texans. It is now scheduled with 3 additional teams for a physical per reports. So, teams have read the arrest warrant. The judge has come out saying things are suspect in the indictment. He doesn't have to wear the GPS, which they initially thought. And now 6 teams are bringing him in for a physical. I mean, the NFL doesn't bring guys in on physicals who kidnap people if they think the kid's going to get off. Oh, and by the way, guess who represents Terron Arnold? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody know who represents Terron Arnold? If I were the Cowboys, I would sign him, DFW. The person that represents Terron Arnold is Nicole Lynn. Jalen Hurts' agent. Clutch Sports represents Terron Arnold. That's his agent. Is Nicole Lynn. Okay? Terron Arnold is represented. Let's see here. So you think Tariq Woolen is a better player than Terron Arnold? So Tariq Woolen's a better player. He's a better player. By the way, you might get the guy on a cheap deal. 6 teams are bringing him in for a workout. I believe that's correct. I think the Lions jumped the gun here. Okay? I do. So you're saying Ringo's a better player. Why you always have to shit on our players? Dude, I asked you what? If you think Terron Arnold is a better player than Tariq Woolen, is shitting on your player? I don't believe he's a better player. Nothing wrong with saying that. If that was the case, Seattle would have kept him. And the Eagles would have given him a 3-year contract extension, the same way Milton Williams got a $175 million contract extension from the New England Patriots and signed the richest contract in the history of the New England Patriots. Yeah, I saw the dickhead in here. What's the difference between Tariq Woolen and Milton Williams? Here's a complete difference between Milton Williams and Tariq Woolen. What was the deal that Williams signed for? Milton Williams' deal. And he was the most coveted 4 years, $104 million and $63 million. There's your difference. Woolen is more proven than Arnold. I'm not going to shit on that. I don't think that that's not terrible. She's just not shitting on your players. It's an honest evaluation. Yeah. I have Arnold a 2-year deal with a roster bonus on a second year. You'd have and dude, I don't know what the money would be. Terron Arnold is represented by Nicole Lynn? You don't think she's talking to Howie now? Some people just fall off because they can't stand working with the dude. Lion fans were not excited about Arnold after 2 seasons. Okay, so big picking. Why then are you excited about Tariq Woolen? After losing his job? Or are you not? If Lion fans weren't excited about Terron Arnold in Detroit, why are you excited about Tariq Woolen with the Eagles? Seattle was not happy with his play either. And they just won the Super Bowl. They let him walk out the building. Hey, DFW, if I were the Cowboys, I would sign him. A charge that serious, but then it's such a quick turnaround for Arnold. They got to start doing deep digging before throwing these stories out. Almost killed Arnold's career. Think about this for a second too, SS. This guy's got 6 visits where he's taking a physical. Do you know what that means? Do you guys know what that means? When you're taking a physical, those teams want to sign him. You don't take a physical. You come in for a workout and talk. Okay? And again, you put that on the other side. How about if you put Tariq Woolen in the nickel and then you put Arnold on the other side and you got Cooper in the middle of the field? How would you feel about your secondary even more? Follow me here. You got Arnold and Q as your corner. You got Woolen in the nickel, and you got Cooper in the middle in the safety spot. How you feeling about your defensive secondary? It'd be the best in pro football. Two corners, nickel, and you put, what's his name at the safety spot? Shit. Holy cow. Sills was the last person Vic was decided to work with. And what did that player do with Vic? I think you're talking Vaughn. Arnold covered a grade sat at 53-8, 92nd, and his run defense was 95th, Pro Football Focus. Well, if you're going to go by that, then there's no way in hell you're going to sign Jaylen Carter. He was terrible. Let's see where Arnold is going next. He's got 6 teams he's taking physicals for. And that number's going to raise now because of what the judge said. The judge is like these, here. Former Lions cornerback Terron Arnold has had massive interest from the Texans, the Colts, the Seahawks, the Jets, Chargers, and Rams, according to his agent, Nicole Lynn, who testified today. The Texans had him in for a workout, and Lynn said there's a very, very good likelihood that Arnold will sign with the team within the next 45 days. He's already worked out. He worked out this morning for the Texans with 6 more teams vying for his services. Why move an all-pro cornerback to full safety? Stupid move. Well, that's what they're doing. I can't understand base plus. Woolen has no experience in the slot nickel. Like I said, Well, how much experience in the last couple of years has Cooper had playing the safety spot? Woolen would probably be pretty good at nickel. He's long and tall, could be your new big nickel in moving Coop to safety. I'm telling you, DFW, if I were the Dallas Cowboys, I would clearly sign Terron Arnold. I would. Hey, man, real quick, going back to that 53, that exercise was more difficult than you guys thought it was going to be. Did you not? It's more difficult. You can't just keep dude. All right? You just can't keep guys without pulling from somewhere else. Arnold is cooked, or Detroit would have kept him. Detroit, that's not the case. I think they thought he was going to prison for the rest of his life. And when the judge saw the indictment and then saw the evidence, hey, dude, he got arrested in Tampa. I know what's going on down there. Doesn't have to wear a monitor and can move freely at his own. And the judge said this, it's suspect at best, the evidence. Here, I've got, somebody emailed me this. Get this, and this is why. So the testimony, the prosecutor's testimony is based and hinges on the testimony of co-defendants who accepted a plea deal rather than direct physical evidence on phone data. And these were two criminals. The judge even noted during his pretrial hearing that sufficient evidence just isn't there at this point. And he said it again today. There's just no evidence. You better come up with more. That's why he's released them. Hey, there's no question. You know what's going to happen now? The NFL Players Association is going to go back and try to get that signing bonus money. The judge said it again today. There's not sufficient evidence. He's going to be on a roster on the opening day for somebody, and he might be on the Texans. Detroit Lions did not save salary cap space by cutting Terron Arnold. Instead, the move resulted in a dead cap hit of $3.9 million for 26 and 4.5. Okay. DFW needs to worry about who CB1 in Dallas is. I think DFW's got some great takes. To be a big nickel, you got to be a willing tackler, which Woolen is not. Yeah, that's probably true. Probably true. Well, he's not a very good tackler, but he's going to be a good one in Philly. Got it. I think Detroit was worried about negative press going into camp. Yeah, I do too. I do too. I do. Let's see here. Woolen likes unnecessary fouls to get ejected. Yeah, he's not a smart player. Tariq Woolen's not a smart player. He's an exceptional talent. Let's see here. This is true. There's a bond. But again, as we read here with the judge has said that there's not significant evidence. and they're going to need to find it. So he's going to play, dude. That guy's going to play. All right. We're going to do that exercise with Xander Krause. Many of you moaned, cried, bitched, and were basically in tears with a simple fact. What 53 is going to start on the opening day roster for the Eagles? You're at 90. And a lot of moaning and crying in here. And you're right. All 32 teams have to do this. What 32 teams don't do this? One of the things, you just moan and you cried. So we're going to do this with our guy, Big Z Krause. And we're going to get his thoughts. By the way, I find it very interesting that Nicole Lynn is Terron Arnold's agent. All that being said, what 53 and who will Big Z keep? You know what I'm even going to do? Watch this. I'm even going to bring out a brand new clean piece of paper because I want the Big Z roster. And who Zander thinks is getting cut. So here we go. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend. And by the way, I'm going to throw a Joe Krause at him. Maybe one day when he is not on a summer schedule, he works 5 days during the week. Oh, yeah, that's right. Even though he got married, no excuses. My friend, Big Z, Xander Krause, joins us now here on a short week.
What's up, Big Sills? I apologize. I apologize for my tardiness.
No,
I was pushing that U-Haul truck, baby. I was getting that U-Haul truck back to the place, Sileo.
Did you hire somebody to help you move?
No. Do I look like the kind of guy to hire help?
Man, that's a rough job, dog.
Yeah, it's good. I got the U-Haul out front. I was just whipping in that thing. You know, that thing's a V8 GMC. That thing's got some giddy up. I rolled the window down. Remember, I haven't had my Corvette in a month. I rolled the window down. I said, yeah. That thing was fun, Sileo.
Hold on. So you were like driving like you were in your old Ram.
I was driving. Let me tell you, I was pushing that thing.
See, we did an exercise that a lot of people had a problem with, and that was picking the 53-man roster to start the Commander game on who stays and who goes.
Well, there is some complicated. I assume people got upset because there are some actually complicated spots on this roster, you know, to kind of whittle it down to 53. Sorry, I'm getting cut off a little bit here, but yeah, no, I mean, we'll do it together. I'll try and do it off the top of my dome, and we'll make it happen here.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to start it with you then.
All right.
So do you think they keep 4 quarterbacks or 3? Hurts?
No, I think it's 3.
3. So will it be Hurts, McKee, and Cole Payton?
No, I think it's going to be Hurts, McKee, and Dalton.
So Cole Payton gets cut?
Yeah, I think Cole Payton's on the outs.
Okay.
Second year, they'll have drafted a quarterback, I believe, in the 6th round, and will have been moved on from in year 1. That happened also last year with St. Joe's Prep Zone, Kyle McCord.
Okay, so I'm putting the number 3 down.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, there's 53 men you have to fill out a roster here. Running backs. Are you keeping 4 or are you keeping Barkley, Bigsby, and Shipley? And are you cutting Dameon Pierce?
Yeah, you got to go 3 there. 3 there. And I think that's the right thing to do there. 3 running backs. Look, when you're paying Saquon Barkley $20 million, you're unfortunately are not going to be able to have the luxury of keeping as many different running back options. You know, if you remember, I'm pretty sure when they had like Miles Sanders, they kept 4. Remember, they had like Boston Scott. So I think it'll be 3 running backs this year, but, you know, we'll see what happens there.
Okay. Wide receiver. This is an interesting spot. So you're obviously going to keep Devontae, Mekhi Lemon, Dontavian Wicks, I would assume Hollywood Brown, and last year you kept, let's see the number,
5,
you
right?
kept,
Or was it 6 last year with
was
Darius
6.
Cooper?
It was 6.
Right, they kept Darius Cooper.
So I just named you 4, and here are the spots for the final 2 that you're going to have to battle out with. You're going to have Elijah Moore, Darius Cooper, Britton Covey, or Quez Watkins. Who of the 4, what 2 stay? And Johnny Wilson.
Is there a chance they keep 5 here? No, right?
So in a new passing offense, you're going to keep less wideouts?
Well,
Remember, Z, this has got to add up.
All right, so wait, right now we have Smitty, we have
Lemon,
Mekhi Lemon,
Wicks.
you have Deontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown is 4.
That's 4. 2 more spots for Elijah Moore, Darius Cooper, Johnny Wilson, or Britton Covey. And always keep in mind special teams.
Right, you got to keep in mind special teams. I think Covey out. I think
Covey.
Johnny Wilson in.
Okay, Johnny Wilson. One more.
Give me Darius Cooper, although I think he could be on the outs this year.
Okay. So there's 6.
You like Elijah Moore or you like Darius Cooper there? Who'd you have?
I had Elijah Moore.
Okay.
Because I went with experience because, listen, the offensive coordinator is going to need experienced wideouts, no?
Yeah, I just think Howie will have a little bit more of an inkling to keep the undrafted Darius Cooper because, sometimes they like to keep some of those guys as a little feather, a little feather in their cap type of thing.
Now, my question would be, does Darius Cooper fit a West Coast offense?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, does Elijah Moore?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if any of them. I mean, to be honest, that some do, some don't. You got to make it work. I think keep Darius Cooper and move on from Elijah Moore probably.
That's 12. Okay, so you're keeping 6 wideouts, 3 running backs, 3 quarterbacks.
Right. Yep.
Now here's your tight ends. Are you keeping 4 or are you going to keep 3 at tight end here? Dallas Goedert, Eli Stowers, Johnny Mutton-Mutts, Grant Calcaterra.
How many did they keep last year?
3.
All right, Goddard, Stowers. They have to keep.
Yep.
Do
you cut?
Does anybody know if EJ Jenkins can block for shit?
Who do they cut? Johnny Munt or Grant Calcaterra?
The Calcaterra's out. He was replaced when they drafted Stowers because Calcaterra's skill set's catching the football. That's Stowers too. You can't keep them both. They're both pass catchers.
Okay, so you're keeping 3.
Well, wait, whoa.
Okay, all right.
Hey, slow down there, big fella.
All right.
Dallas Goedert, Eli Stowers. Can EJ Jenkins block to save his life? Does anybody know? Because they like EJ apparently. John likes EJ.
Okay.
Because I would maybe go 4 there and go EJ and Munt.
4. Wow.
Is that too rich at tight end?
They had 3 last year, but that's now 16. Okay. Here's your old line.
Look at how quick you try and put a lid on this thing.
Hey, well, wait. Here we go. Dallas Goedert. Or excuse me. Malata, Dickerson, Jurgens, Steen, and Johnson. And here are the remaining. You kept 10 last year. So here are the remaining guys. Markel Bell, you're going to keep because you drafted him.
Obviously.
You're going to keep Fred because he was your swing guy last year, right?
Right.
Okay, that's 7. You got 3 spots for these guys. Michael Jordan, Drew Kendall, Holland Pierce, Miles Hinton, Willie Lampkin, Jaden Roberts, who you drafted, by the way.
No, Jaden Roberts wasn't a draft pick.
Who was the kid they got from Georgia?
What's that guy? Micah Morris.
Michael Morris. Okay.
I think they definitely keep Drew Kendall.
And Cameron Williams.
They definitely are going to keep Drew Kendall. I would almost put him as a lock.
That's 8.
All right, Drew Kendall. Apparently, they like Michael Jordan, not to be
Okay.
confused with the greatest basketball player of all time.
That's 9. You got one more.
You guys like rushing the name to the paper like we're taking the SATs here. Holy crap.
Well,
let me take a look here. Let me take a look. I don't know if Michael Jordan should be slotted in yet.
Let me take Michael Jordan.
The only reason I would put Michael Jordan is because he's got a lot of experience, right? He's been in the league for 7 years, I think.
Yep. Don't forget Cameron Williams.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay.
How many are we at? 9?
Yeah.
And how many tackles do we have?
You have Lane, Malata, Fred, Bell.
And Markel Bell. All right. I think they're good then on tackles.
Now, before you answer more, because of the injuries of a year ago, is this a position you may want to go deeper? That means I may.
Yeah, but I think they need to be deeper at the interior. There's more injury concerns there.
Okay. Well, that means then you have to take the 4th tight end away.
Whoa. Let me build my roster. You got to do yours now.
Well, wait a minute here. You got to make 53. It's got to hit the number for the Commanders.
Give me Michael Jordan and give me Micah Morris, the rockstar out of Georgia. Oh, no, he's a second year. Yeah, he's a rookie.
Okay, so Hinton's cut. Willie Lampkin's cut. Holland Pierce is cut. Cameron Williams is cut.
They're practice squad guys. How many guys? What are you? Silio's talking like people are waiting there.
No.
When Miles Hinton hits that practice squad.
Again, don't get upset when you got to make 53. There's 10.
All right.
That's 26. We haven't even got to the defense. Oh, by the way, we have to add this before we continue anymore. We got to add 3 extra additional guys. We have to add the kicker. We have to add the long snapper. And we have to add the punter. So that's 3.
Okay.
That's now 30. So now you have 23 positions to fill on defense. So let's take a look at that and how Big Z is going to roll into this one. I can't wait to see.
How many do we have on offense then? 29?
29.
Oh, that's heavy. Woo, that's heavy.
29.
All right, let's keep rolling.
Here we go. How many defensive linemen are you keeping? 8 or 9? Here's the guys.
Can we go interior and then edge?
Well, I did it this way. Jaylen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Ajomo, Brian Young.
Whoa. All right, Byron Young. Okay.
Okay. Are you keeping the Nigerian guy?
Let me come to him later.
Okay, Jonathan Grenard, Jalen Hunt, Nolan Smith, and Arnold Ebiketie. That's 8.
They can't keep 10 defensive linemen?
They can. You got to make it work other places, though. They can.
Well, how many corners are they going to keep? 6?
Hold on. I'm not there yet. How many?
I know, but I'm trying to put – I have to think about what's coming, Sileo, in order to make the proper answer right now.
I know. Let's go by one. We're going by grouping. What?
I know, but it's not etched in pen. I might have to go back and move some guys.
Okay. All right. So wait a minute. Yeah, okay. So when you go around a room in a meeting here, they go to position. How many guys you want to keep? How many guys then they debate it, and then it comes down to Howie on what Howie wants.
If Ty Robinson doesn't show he's worth a damn, he can enjoy the practice squad.
That's right. Ty Robinson looks like he's a cut candidate, along with Gabe Hall, correct?
Yeah, because Byron Young's going to be the guy I think that they keep.
Yes.
So your 4 tackles are going to be Carter, Davis, Ajomo, and Byron Young. See, I think they could keep one more there. And then on the edge, you obviously have Grenard. You have Nolan Smith. You have Jalen Hunt. You have, I guess, Ebiketie. Is there?
That's 8.
Let me find them on this list here because they list them as outside.
So you're going to cut Zion Wilson and Gabe.
Or I think you're cutting Epineza.
Yes. Epineza doesn't make the team.
I don't see how. I mean, unless they keep 10 defensive linemen.
That's right. So we're saying 9 D linemen, right?
Yeah, what I have? I had 4 tackles and 5 edges.
Yeah.
Who were my 5 edges? Who'd you add in after Abikady?
No. I went like this with edge. Nolan Smith, Jonathan Grenard, Jalix Hunt, Arnold Ebikady. No, that's 8.
That's 8.
That's 8.
That's 8.
8. Okay, 8.
I'm going to come back to that too. There might be some more that you put in there.
Okay, we'll come
back. All right, so we have 8 there for now.
That's 37. So let's go to now linebacker. Are you keeping 4? Bond, Campbell, Trotter, Smil Munden.
Smile Munden. Yep. I think those are the 4.
Okay. That's 40. Okay. Now here comes to cornerback and safety. Quinyon Mitchell, obviously. Cooper DeJean. Andrew Makuba. Marcus Epps. Reek Woolen, there's 5.
There's 5.
Let's see here. You're going to keep Cole Wisniewski, right? You drafted him.
I mean, he was a 7th round pick. I don't think he's guaranteed yet, my friend.
Okay. Keely Ringo?
No, he's out.
Jonathan Jones.
Unless they're in dire straits on special teams, Keely Ringo could make it, but I don't see it.
Michael Carter.
Michael Carter, I actually think is a keep.
Okay. Jonathan Jones.
I think he's a keep too.
Okay.
Apparently he's looked really good in camp or in spring.
Bennett.
No. Are we in a numbers crunch here?
We're at 7 right now.
7 in the whole secondary, though, including safety.
Yeah.
And how many? We have 4 safeties, don't we?
Well, yeah. I think you can keep between corners and safeties 10 players. Because that's going to put you right at the 53.
Right. Maybe one of those safeties goes out because they're playing Cooper and base.
Okay.
So, all right, let me do it this way. Quinyon, Coop, Woolen, Makuba, Epps. All right, there's your starting 5 in the secondary. Then you probably have –
you got 5 more guys.
I think Michael Carter.
Think of special teams too, Z.
I know. Well, can Michael Carter play special teams?
Probably.
Jonathan Jones probably isn't playing special teams. He's 32 years old. That's going to – all right, put a question mark on him. Michael Carter, I think, is a keep. Maybe Jacorian Bennett's a keep. And they're going to need to keep another nickel. But Michael Carter can play nickel. He could be your backup nickel.
Yep.
Okay, so he's a keep because he's your backup nickel and potentially a backup safety.
I don't think Jacorian Bennett not being on the roster as a backup is a bad thing.
No, I mean, I just don't. I don't know who's he got to beat out. Jonathan Jones.
Yeah,
but they're going to keep more than one depth corner though.
Yeah, I mean,
so give me Jones and Bennett as the outside depth corners, right?
Yeah.
You keep Michael Carter as your versatile, and that's 8. Is that 8?
I've got 10.
But I only said 8, right?
Well, no, I think they're going to keep 10.
Right, so I have 2 more.
Okay.
Mac McWilliams, he's young. I mean, he's 24 years old.
Doesn't he play special too? And what are they going to do with Fields?
Tariq Castro Fields, I think he's probably on the way out.
Okay.
JT Gray actually is a small sleeper, but he's 30. I would think he'd be out. All right, let's keep rolling. I got 8 there, but I think they'll fill in the other 2.
Okay, then let's just go down there with 8. And that puts you at 51. You got 2 additional spots open that you can go long on. Do you want to?
So you're either going defensive line or secondary.
Why not Andy Dalton?
I put Dalton on my roster.
Oh, that's right. You cut Cole. Why not put Cole Payton?
He's going to the practice squad. You're not carrying 4 quarterbacks.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. How about going another wideout? You got two spots where you can go long.
Yeah, we're already rich on offense. I think with 6 and 5, I had 4 tight ends, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Would you go longer on the O-line?
We had 10 there, right?
Yep. Would you add another one?
I don't know that 11.
You see enough talent there.
Yeah, I don't. Not to keep 11. I mean, unless they feel as though one of these draft picks has a bright future, like a Miles Hinton or a Cam Williams, maybe. But I think you got to get ready for this year, man. I wouldn't be worried too much about that. I mean, I think some of those guys are safe on the practice squad.
You know, you might have a roster spot open for Ty Robinson.
Maybe. He could make it.
Okay.
Maybe Ty Robinson and Mac McWilliams are your other two.
Yep.
That could be it.
What's the biggest position you think?
Holy crap. Are you guys listening to this? This is a Super Bowl football roster right now.
Hey.
Oh, baby.
I'll tell you what, that exercise ain't that easy, is it?
No, it's tough. I mean, look, that's why GMs are paid the big bucks.
That's right. It's a numbers game, right? It all comes down to but don't you agree? What would be your biggest concern if you're Howie building the roster up? Do you want more depth in O-line? Because you had issues with it a year ago. And what's Carter's health and the interior? I think your strongest area right now is linebacker. How do you feel about your edge? Do you feel good about the edge going into this when you struggled a little bit at the beginning of the year against the run?
But they got better when Phillips came, and I actually think Grenard's a slight upgrade over Phillips. So I feel pretty good about the edge. I mean, the other thing with the edge is, and look, it is a projection, and I know you hate that word, but it is baked in. And when you're making rosters, you have to project to some extent. The Nolan and Jalix keep getting better. You know, they got to, because if they don't, they're probably not going to get another contract. So I'm baking in that those two guys, at least one of them, plays better, or at least is further developed at this point. And then, so I think that's baked into it. I feel all right at the edge. Plus Grenard, I feel pretty good about that, actually.
Let me ask you this one before we move on here. What'd you make of this comment by Emmanuel Acho here? I don't think that Lemon is a first-round talent, but in a weaker wide receiver class, when there was depth of wide receivers, Carnell Tate ends up going top 5. Now, Mekhi Lemon gets overdrafted, and that's really probably going to be used against him in the entirety of his career. I think that's a really tough statement to make for a kid that's not even played or stepped on a football field.
Yeah.
I have a tough time always doing that.
I agree with you. I mean, look, this is the one thing I hate about the NFL draft. In a vacuum of the draft, right, before you ever – because you don't see any of the players in the draft. Maybe he was overdrafted in the NFL draft, right? But you just did a redraft, I think, of the 23 draft.
24.
24, and Cooper DeJean was 10. So it's like, let's let these guys hit the field. I understand what he's saying in a vacuum of the draft without
I'm not buying it either. I'm not buying it either.
But, I got to see what Lemon can do. I will say, just the eye test on Lemon, and it's not much because it's just looking at how he physically looks. He does look a little small, and that's not a bad thing. Amon-Ra St. Brown's one of the best receivers in football. So, but I'm just saying he doesn't really you don't look at him and you're like, that dude's about to.
Yeah, but they drafted him to what they want to do, and he fits that West Coast guy. If you're looking to be a power team, AJ's the guy. I think they drafted him with the notion this is what they want. This is why people are still having a hard time understanding this, Z. With all the moves that you guys made, you drafted that guy to the scheme you want the offensive passing game to look like.
Well, maybe you're right.
And those are traditionally smaller guys.
But here's the thing, though. Lemon's going to have to learn how to play with his size in the NFL because, the one thing Amon-Ra St. Brown does really well, if you watch his game, he knows when to get out of bounds. He knows when to get down because your body's not going to hold up in the end. It's like Andrew Makuba. You love when he plays physical until he gets out and until he misses half the year because he can't do it. It reminds me of Avante Maddox, who used to play the same way, an undersized guy who plays physical. It's great in spots, but you're probably not going to hold up. So Lemon's going to have to learn how to play the right way so that he's got some longevity in the NFL. I do think it's a little bit of an art to do that, but we'll see. We'll see on Lemon.
You know who Terron Arnold's agent is?
Yeah, Nicole Lynn. I think she testified in court, actually.
She did.
Yeah, I saw that.
Judge also said that the evidence is really not sufficient enough, and that's why all these teams are now doing this. He worked out this morning, took a physical for the Texans.
Yeah.
According to Adam Schefter, there's 5 other destinations that he's taking physicals in a workout with. He's going to play, dude.
Well, I'll say this, and I was away when this all broke, so I didn't really get a chance to read as much of it as possible. But last time I checked, we do reside in the great United States of America, the greatest country on earth. And in this country, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. And I read a little bit about the case, and apparently a lot of the charges are coming from somebody who's been proven guilty or has lied to the court and basically ratted out on Terron Arnold. How are you going to use the testimony of a guilty suspect in this case?
The judge said, "Don't exact words."
Somebody else. I mean, to me, it's like, whoa, let this guy have his day in court. I'm not writing him out as a guilty person. I mean, I think we've really gotten away from that, which is a sad thing. You hear someone who has charges against them, and it's like, oh, there they are. They're a piece of shit. It's like, all right, come on, let's see what happens here. So I'm not out on Arnold at all. I think he should be given a chance to play until they prove that he's guilty in this.
Do you think the Eagles should have some interest?
I don't know that they need it in Philly because they have Woolen, but if they didn't have Woolen, I think you could make the argument for it. I don't know that he's needed right here in Philadelphia.
How about drop Woolen in the slot and put Arnold on? Look at your secondary, what it would be if you put Woolen in the slot.
Woolen's not a slot player, dude. He's 6'4".
I get that. Probably not. How about if you put Arnold in that spot?
Maybe, but I think Cooper DeJean is better there.
Yeah, but I thought you were going to play him at safety.
Vic clearly wants him to be versatile in the middle.
So you would have Q, Arnold, Woolen.
I mean, I see where you're going, that it's adding a good player, but to be fair to Arnold, I don't think he's been that great in the league. I mean, if you remember, and so I think.
So you think Tariq Woolen's been better than him?
No, but I'm just saying I don't think Arnold has lived up to the hype of where he was selected. I mean, if you remember, we drafted Quinion right before him, and I remember on your show you were like, you drafted the Toledo guy over the Alabama guy. Let's see how it works. And I understand where you were coming from.
I wasn't the only guy, right?
No, Quinion has been better, and Arnold's been a little bit of a letdown. I mean,
yes.
Like for example, and I think Detroit, the way Detroit handled it tells you all you need to know. If somebody is more valuable to you, you're going to give them more of the benefit of the doubt. I know people love to say that it's equality, but it ain't a fair world, folks. When you're, when you're Quinion, you probably have a longer leash, right?
Well,
so they cut him pretty quick.
Well, and God forbid, and I'm not putting him in this because he's seemingly a great guy. If Detroit had Quinion Mitchell in the same situation that Terron Arnold was, they're not cutting Mitchell.
That's what I'm saying. It's the old Jimmy Johnson quote.
Yes.
What did he used to say? I'll treat you fairly, but I won't treat you the same, or something like that. Like when you're a superstar, you got a little more leeway.
Jimmy treats you like a man, but when it comes to my football team, I'm gonna treat you all different.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a totem pole on that guy's fucking team. That's for damn sure here. That exercise was a little bit more difficult than people thought on picking that 53 man.
I literally dominated that exercise. That's a Super Bowl roster.
The Super Bowl roster with Manny Matampkin and who's those backup?
Manny Matampkin, who's that?
I don't know. What's the guy's name? Drew Kendall, Willie Lampkin.
Oh, silly! I didn't even have Lampkin on my roster.
Lampkin. Isn't that the guy from Death of a Salesman? Who else you got here? You got
Willie Lampkin.
Jesus criminy. And that John McMullen deep tackle position of Zion Wilson and Ty Robinson. I can't wait to see those guys performing. All right. I got another cute one here for you, Junior. I think you're gonna. Oh, real quick, just got to throw this at you here. By the way, Mike North is going to join us at the bottom. I thought you'd find this interesting here. How about this little nugget? Since 2023, 14 quarterbacks have more 300-yard passing games than Jalen Hurts, and retired Derek Carr has just as many. Feels that without A.J. Brown in the mix, there are more paths to failure than success with this current new group of wideouts in Philadelphia. That is the Pro Football Network. What do you make of those comments by the Pro Football Network and not Big Sills? I didn't say it.
Whatever, Sileo. Whatever.
I never said it.
I didn't say it. Bunch of BS here on July 10th.
And
in all seriousness, 18 days away from camp is unbelievable.
Man, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. And then next week, I told you Arizona and Seattle and San Francisco report with their rookies. Big Z, I got something here for you that I think you're going to enjoy. The top 25 Big Sills football team of your Philadelphia Eagles ranked on ability.
Ooh, all right.
Here's my top 25 Eagles. You tell me if you agree or disagree, or if
I think I did one recently. Let me see if I could find mine. Go ahead. I'll listen to you, Marcia.
All right. So at number 24, I've got Jeremiah was a bullfrog trotter at number 24.
Wait, who was 25?
I kept it blank. I'll leave it there.
You're telling me you couldn't even stuff like Dontavian Wicks on there or something?
Oh, he's 23.
Okay. All right.
At number 22, I'm going to put Jalix Hunt at number 22. Okay. At number 21, Andrew Makuba at 21, safety.
All right, I had him a little higher on mine, 19, but I'm good with where you had him.
Marcus Epps, number 20, safety. At number 19, Nolan Smith, Eagles.
Wow. Okay.
At number 18, the greatness of Tariq Woolen at number 18. At number 17, I have Jonathan Grenard, edge rusher.
That's bullshit.
At number 16, I have Jahad Campbell at number 16. At number 15, I have Dallas Goddard at number 15. At number 14, I have Cam Jurgens. At number 13, I have London Dickerson.
What a deep roster this team has, man.
Oh, my God. Look at these guys here. That's right here, the MASH unit I'm coming into. Well, you know shit's going sideways when Tyler Steen comes in at 12.
What? How do you put Tyler Steen above Landon Dickerson?
Because he had a better year last year.
No, he didn't.
Oh, really? He didn't.
What a shit list this is. That's
he had a better. You're telling me that
you put that in there for effect. I know you like the back of my hand. You put that in there for effect.
Steen had a better year than Cam Jurgens.
Oh, yeah. You got to draft a 3 offensive line. Silio's taking Tyler Steen before Dickerson and Jurgens.
Number 11, I had Moro Ajomo. At number 10, Jalen Hurts at number 10. At number 9, Jordan Davis at number 9. At number 8, Saquon Barkley.
What?
At number 7, Jaylen Carter. At number 6, Lane Johnson. At number 5, here's your top 5 Eagles. Devontae Smith at number 5. At number 4, Jordan Mailata. Here's your top 3 players, baby.
I knew you were putting Cooper 1. Don't even play with me.
Zach Bond at number 3. At number 2, Quinyon.
Yep.
And the number 1 player on the Philadelphia Eagles
Oh, man.
is Cooper DeJean.
I tell you what, I can't argue with it. I mean, I would probably put Quinyon 1 on your list, that is. That's funny.
Those two guys are the best players on your football team, man. But they're all pro.
I think Quinyon's better than Cooper.
Shit, man,
Dude,
I don't know. Man.
It's hard to find elite cornerbacks.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. When you put Cooper DeJean in that game, since you've put him on the field, and Q started the season, right? When you put Cooper out there, that
DeJean started the year last year?
No, I'm talking. I thought he missed. I thought he was hurt.
The first year he missed.
Yeah, I'm talking since you put that guy on the field, when he teacupped Derrick Henry at the end of the year.
I know. I'm just going off the fact that elite cornerbacks are rare in this game.
Who do you think is a more of an impact player on the Vic Fangio defense, Q or Cooper?
Well, that's a different evaluation. I mean, if you think Cooper is more important to the defense, then I can buy that a little more. But in terms of a talent, you're top.
Who do you think Vic thinks?
I think Quinyon.
What's his defense called? Too high safety, not too high corner.
Well, that's again, that's not on. That's more back to the valuation of what the player is in the defense. You know, I just think maybe I'm wrong. I'm not professing to be right, but I mean, look. Also, I don't want to get into a thing where one of us is saying one of them is not great. I mean, they're both elite. We're just going back.
They're both all pro.
Which one is which? I mean, to me, having that type of lockdown corner is hard to find. Now, I know maybe you'll push back because it's a zone system, so it's not as locked down as a more traditional man, press coverage type of cornerback. But they don't even throw the ball like Quinyon, dude. Matthew Stafford doesn't even throw the ball at him. I mean, they didn't even look at him. They don't even try.
My problem a little bit is still with Brick Hands Mitchell. Just
dude, who gives a shit? He's a cornerback, dude. He's not a wide receiver.
I'm just saying, brick hands here, man. I'm just saying those things got bricks on them.
All right, he might have some bricks, but
Oh, and for the record, I've got Mekhi Lemon Drop.
I know Sileo. Sileo loves Cooper because he's the one who's dancing around with the cheerleaders. He had his big 4th of July American overall outfit on. Sileo loves that shit.
I love the fact that he's like diving off the top rope going into the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader pool. I like the whole thing. This guy.
I think Saquon at 8 was a shitty placement by you. Where'd you have Carter? 7?
Yes.
Yeah, that's low. Mulata, you had where? 4?
Who?
Mulata.
Yeah.
All right, good with that.
I
had Devontae 6 and Lane 5. You had Lane 6, Devontae 5, I think. So we're close there.
I had Zach 3.
That's pretty high for Zach. But I think that's I'm all right with that.
Isn't that wild? Your top 3 players on your football team are defensive players now.
I had Hurts 9 on mine. Where'd you have him on yours?
I had 10.
I mean, I was trying to get Hurts higher. It's just, I think Bond, DeJean, Lane, Mulata, Carter, Barkley, Quinyon.
Devontae.
I said Devontae. I mean, those are the guys I had in front of him.
Yep.
So it's not like I don't think that's that big of a knock there.
No. You think you're as talented as you've been though the last couple of years, do you?
No, but it also feels like the league is not that all that. The league was in a little bit of a spot where they had like a bunch of teams with a lot of good players. At least it felt like it. You had like multiple teams with 2 great wide out. Like it feels like not. I don't think the league has come back a little bit, but it does feel like the Eagles roster is not as good, but it's still at the top of the league.
Can I tell you what I think has happened? What I think has happened, Xander, is that with the salary cap going up, you're paying your top end guys more. And I think that's filtering out like the balanced rosters. I just think as this cap goes up, you're seeing that more here. Hey, real quick here, before we get Mike North on here. Don't you believe that this still is one of the top things that you still have to concern yourself with? Is that here's the massive question going into training camp in 18 days. First year play caller in Mannion and the new offensive line coach. And that offensive line coach, Xander, has to make the decision on keeping 9 or 10.
Well, he's not going to make that decision.
Stoutland that's why it's an issue for me, because Stoutland was the one making the issue. He was making the call the last time.
No, he wasn't, Sileo.
So wait a minute.
Howie Roseman makes that decision. You don't think
that Howie Roseman, after I heard Jason Kelsey even say it, that Howie came to both Stoutland and him when they were looking at getting Cam?
Well, obviously they're going to talk to him, but Sileo, are you honestly of the belief
that
I am. Chris Cooper, the first-year O-line coach, is going to tell Howie Roseman how many O-line?
Bro, I'm going to show you guys how it works. Nick sits at the table and Howie's sitting next to him. Wide receiver guys, how many do you want to keep? They write down the names and numbers. Offensive line guys, how many do you want to keep? And then what
Howie goes, thanks for the recommendation. I'll let you know.
At the end of the day, then it comes down to Howie and Nick.
Of course, Howie asked for input.
Hold on. Hold on. So wait a minute. Nick doesn't have the overall say on who he goes to battle with on Sundays?
That's different. I mean, the 53-man roster, especially the initial one, where you're trying to get wait. You're trying to get players through waivers. You're trying to get guys to the practice squad. You're trying to protect certain players. There's no way Chris Cooper, who's a first-year coach in Philadelphia, is making that decision over Howie Roseman.
So wait a second. So when Bill Belichick is picking a team in New England,
here we go again.
Hold on.
Bill Belichick's not in Philly.
Sean McVay, you think he's sitting there going like this? Hey, who do you want to keep, Les? He's saying this is who I need for going into a football game on Sundays.
Maybe they all ought to take a page out of Maybe they all ought to take a page out of Howie's book, because the Eagles are more successful than both of them.
Okay, well then let me take one that's more successful than him, and I'll go to Bill Belichick and go. Bill makes final
different time.
Okay, how about Andy Reid? How about Andy Reid? You think he listens to Brett Veach, or do you think
you're not? These are not apples to apples comparisons. Bill Belichick was the GM. Andy Reid has way more power in the Chiefs organization than Nick has in the Eagles. You've talked, Sills, this is your show topic 13 times a year.
Okay.
I mean, Howie runs the Eagles ship, not Nick.
Howie picks the Sunday roster on who Nick plays.
I think the Sunday roster is different than the initial 53.
Okay. On a week when you're going to play an opponent like the Bears, who picks that roster going into that Sunday game? Howie or Nick?
Howie and Nick together.
No. Dude, when there's a captain,
who's got the final gavel?
When there's a captain on the boat, bro, there's one captain. There ain't.
I think it's Howie.
Hey, Nick, here's who you're playing with on Sunday. All right.
Dude, look at the organization's history. The only fires coaches, quarterback. The only guy who keeps around is the GM. That's the guy who's got the power.
That's right. And that's why Nick's expendable.
And it's been pretty successful. So I'm
no question about it. That's why you go from Doug to Nick to whomever, from Andy to these to that. Bro.
All right. So get the Mike North
ride in that U-Haul of yours, man.
Dude, I was whipping that sucker. All right, Sills. I'll talk to you on Monday.
Man. Love you, dude. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, brother. Love you later, man.
You got it, man. Absolutely. So I was watching a picture of Mike North in his car. He and his lovely wife, I think, were making a trip around Hammond on where they were going to tailgate, where they're going to go to Bear game. Could you see the legend of Chicago, Mike North, tailgating? Wait a second. I got a new name for you guys. What is this thing called? Where the Bears are going to go? Here it is. Wolf Lake Terminals. That's the new place that Mike's going to be tailgating. Without further ado, my friend, Mr. Chicago, Mike North joins us now here on the program. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing better than you. I've two falsehoods in the last 5 minutes. One that a first-year coach tells Howie Roseman and Nick what to do, and on his recommendation, I don't remember if anybody, Tony Wise or anybody from the Bears, telling Ditka, this is the damn offensive line I want, or this or that. And then we were in Illinois.
Agreed.
We were in Illinois. I am going. I have 3 sites I already scouted out in the state of Illinois that they never even have looked at because they only picked 3. They picked Arlington Heights, they picked Hammond, and they picked Soldier Field. I've gone around to 3 different areas of Illinois, very close, not far from the Chicagoland area, and picked out huge plots of land. It's farmland. It's not toxic. It's not cancer causing like in Hammond. It's bigger than Soldier Field, that area, and it's cheaper than Arlington. So what I'm trying to display is that the Chicago Bears have not done their due diligence. They decided to just go with 3 sites. And I just talked to somebody in Hammond the other day that lives there that said it's never happening in Hammond. And I'm going to stick to my guts. And if it does, it won't be for 4, 5, 6 years. So it's really a dead subject right now. But I keep it alive to let people know that Illinois has like 77 million acres of farmland. Okay. This country has 800 and some million acres of farmland. There's plenty of land in Illinois. It's a major market as far as farms are concerned. There's farms nearby. There's farms far away. But there's farms that would be clean soil, would not be cancer toxins, my friend. And you know what? That's what I'm going to keep doing because I want them to stay in Illinois. And I'm not going. The jokes about Hammond is fine, but if people want, and that's what I think is humorous. There's nobody really serious about Hammond.
No,
you know what I mean, Danny?
No,
nobody.
I don't even believe the NFL is. I want to get back to that. I want to go back to what you just said, though. So Jerry Vanisi's not telling Mike Ditka who to play on Sunday, is he?
Well, Jerry Vanisi didn't have as much power as Ditka.
Okay. Okay. So, like, when do you think the general manager right now, the football team, dictates the roster to Ben Johnson on Sunday?
No, but I don't think any coach tells Ben Johnson who should play at the running back position or who should do this or who should do that, and they can give a recommendation.
Having a general manager telling you who should play Sunday.
Well, sometimes that happens, I think, because sometimes they decide to sit a guy. Or they decide, like Xander just said, there's all sorts of moves that are made, I think, by general managers behind the scene that almost force the coaches that they have to play certain guys because they made a decision.
But Mike, if I'm getting ready to game plan against the Chicago Bears, what the hell does a general manager have more of an insight to my position coaches and my coordinators who have been in the business doing exactly that job? What would that GM who came from the side of money and came from the money side, who's developed himself into being a personnel guy, when my coaches come through the reins of learning how to game plan, learning how to talent evaluate, learning how to scout, learning how to game plan against the Bears, learning what I need in a 3 technique versus that 1 technique that you have that's playing in the secondary. Don't you think that you got a guy that's a bookworm telling a coach what to do and how to game plan? I don't think that's good.
If you're a coach and you need certain players to be successful, you're a coach to try to give that the players are given to you by the GM. You got to make that work. You got to make that work. Whoever they give you, I tell you this: there's not a general manager in football that doesn't know as much as a first-year or second-year assistant coach. They're the ones that put the team together. Am I supposed to believe that a coach knows more than Howie Roseman or even the GM of the football team when they did the due diligence to look for it? I understand what you're saying. You don't want any interference from upstairs.
But I want to do my job.
Well, Jerry Jones, how's that working for everybody?
That's right. What would Jerry Jones know? He's a front office guy. What would a front office guy know about putting a guy in a position of success? I can look at a guy, Mike, and look at the metrics of a player. He does a great 40. He's 6'4". He does all that. He's got great skill set. Can that guy play against Chicago and what they're trying to do with them stretch runs? Does that guy understand leverage? Does that guy understand head technique? So you know what? I think they're 2 different guys. I think there's a guy who works and looks at a player and goes, this is what I think he is. And you're right. They put the players on the field, and when you pay them, you got to play them. There's no doubt. This ain't college ball. You're right. When you pay somebody, you got to play them. But that comes down to coordinators looking and taking the players that you give me. Well, to say that the personnel guys don't misevaluate, I'm not saying you're saying that.
No.
They don't misevaluate.
Yeah.
They do. They give,
So do you think
they give coaches shitty players, do they not sometimes?
so? Yeah. So when Garrett was the head coach of Dallas, you don't think Jerry Jones told him that certain players got to play? I think they got to play because of salary.
That's a front office guy getting in the way
Yep.
of coaching. Yes,
Well, that happens. That doesn't happen just on one team. That happens on teams, and usually unsuccessful, to be fair, Dan. Usually unsuccessful. But Howie Roseman, if he said, I make the decisions on the field, and you want to see my trophy case, he wouldn't make that. But Nick Sirianni, everybody tells me, and in fact, you said it, that he could be gone next week. And guess who's still going to be sitting there? And guess who's going to have to give that new head coach all the information that he needs? Because that new coach may be coming from a college. That new coach may be coming from another league. That coach may be coming from a different team. And this coach may be a first-year head coach.
Tell me if you agree with this or not.
Yeah.
And here was the problem that I saw with exactly what you're saying here with a guy like Nick Sirianni. If you're building your team through the front office and you're saying that Howie Roseman knows more about this guy when it comes to putting talent on a roster. Well, when that talent isn't as good, Mike, and they needed answers in that 49er game, and your coach is lesser and he has no answers for that team that the 49ers had that was a practice squad team, that's where you run into problems when the front office gets in the way and you don't allow your coaches to do their job.
So they lost to a what kind of team?
A JV 49er team that had
who started at quarterback in that game?
Purdy.
Okay, is he a JV quarterback?
Mike, they had five new guys on the starting lineup,
right?
On the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? They made it there. They won the game, and guess what? The head coach is pretty good, but I think he's overhyped too. So I think every team is different. You know what I think that basically the Philadelphia Eagles need to really ground themselves. I think they need to go back to the 70s when the Eagles were 47-94 and didn't make the playoffs, because you're a bunch of spoiled brats in Philadelphia, because you make the playoffs and then you can't wait to beat up the quarterback and this and that. I've heard it because I've been on your wonderful show for the last year. No. I think you guys need to go through a decade like you went through in the 70s to wake your asses up.
1,000% agree with you. Then that's why my big question this offseason has been this. If you're over the last 4 years, Mike, 50-18, and you have been to 2 Super Bowls, won 2 NFC titles, and win a Super Bowl, why are you changing everything if you're the Eagles?
Well, I think teams change every year. I mean, the Super Bowl, and they change sometimes for the wrong reason. I remember Willie got the next year. That was no fault of Ditka. That was the fault of the front office. So you know what? Sometimes you got a bad head coach and a good front office, and sometimes you have a bad front office and a good head coach. When you got both, like the Bears had, with Jerry Vanisi and Jim Finks and Mike Ditka, it works. When you get rid of the head coach and you get rid of his players and you put in a guy, and you get rid of a Buddy Ryan, that's all on the front office. I like the Philadelphia Eagle front office. I like what they've done the 5 years, 6 years. So I'm baffled. Quite frankly, you just named off the record of this football team in Philadelphia at 50-18, 2 Super Bowls. We'd kill for that here in Chicago. So I would like to see you guys go back to when you guys in the 70s couldn't win hardly any football games, and then maybe you guys will wake up and appreciate what you got, because we appreciated what we had last year, and we never win two consecutive years in a row.
Mike, if the front office is doing Jalen Hurts a service, why are they hiring another guy with no experience at coordinator?
Well, I think that's something that. Why don't you know that? You're the one covering Philly football.
Okay, it's 2 years in a row that now you've hired a guy who doesn't know what and never called a play. Yeah. I don't understand. Like you just said, sometimes people make bad hires and go in a bad direction. How do you hire a guy who's never called a play, and then you fire Jeff Stoutland in the process of that?
Well, I think because basically they want to keep the same thing intact. Is that new guy?
No, they want to do something completely different this year.
We'll see. We'll see. You want to do something?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
We'll see. We'll see if Jalen Hurts decides to become Dan Marino. I don't think that's going to happen. I think when they sit in the film room, Nick Sirianni's going to go, wait a minute. We can't do this. We can't do that. He's a first-year head coach. He's going to approve the game plan. I don't care what the offensive coordinator says. He looks at them. If it's 5 passes, 6 passes, if they are heavy passing, he's going to go, wait a minute. What are you doing here? You know, offensive coordinators change their stripes too.
That's right. I agree, Mike. I love this convo, man. Hey,
yeah.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. Do you think you have to be elite at quarterback to take a team to a Super Bowl?
No. I don't think you need to be elite to take a team to the Super Bowl because I think you need to be a dog. And that's what Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts is not a passing football player. Jalen Hurts, though, has taken more heat than any 2-time Super Bowl quarterback that I can remember.
So do you think Rex Grossman was a dog?
Rex Grossman was not a dog. That's the reason we let me tell you this about Rex Grossman. And, you know, it's good to cherry pick. Do you think Randall Cunningham was a dog?
Yeah, I think he was a great player.
No, but he didn't. What did he win?
He didn't win anything because
was he a dog?
Because they couldn't build an old lineman around him.
Well, and the opposite happened to Rex Grossman, really, because he went to the Super Bowl because they had a great defense. There's all sorts of different scenarios, Dan. But if you want to go there, I mean, Randall Cunningham was every bit as good as Michael Vick, and nobody gives Randall Cunningham
I think Randall was spectacular.
Well, he didn't win anything. And Jalen Hurts won twice.
But that's
been to the Super Bowl twice.
That's an organizational thing. That's not just a positional thing.
I don't care how you paint it. Was Jalen Hurts on the team when they won 2 Super Bowls? With the organization, did a front office guy play quarterback?
Well, then Jim Plunkett with 2 Super Bowl wins and a Super Bowl MVP, he's a dog, right?
No. Sam Darnold was a dog. You can. I don't know what a dog means. I said dog as a mean son of a gun. But if you want to play that game, Sam Darnold was a dog for years. You and I said it, and he won a Super Bowl. Guess what? He's now a pit bull. Mike, he was a collie.
Jim Plunkett won 2 Super Bowls and a Super Bowl Most Valuable Player award.
Yep. And guess what?
I think when people say, "Hey, that he was on 2 spectacular Raider teams?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? He wasn't elite. He was just a good football player.
He was elite on bad football teams before that. What teams did they play on before the Raiders?
I think he was with the New England Patriots. He was the Rookie of the Year there. Mm-hmm. And I know that he was in San Francisco, and it went so horrible for him. But that was pre-DeBartolo. I
don't care what it was. He went to somewhere else and he won.
You think
he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Wait, Mike, you think that the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jets are the same as the Rams and the Eagles when it comes to how organizations are run?
I never said that.
Okay. So then organizations that don't do well and don't run their teams right, you can have great players on those bad teams, can you not?
Well, if you have the great players with a bad organization, I once again will tell you, the Chicago Bears got rid of every great player after the Super Bowl. It took them about 3 years to deplete the team, and then we went through hell. So Mike Ditka got fired because they didn't want him coming back after a losing season like he did a couple years before, where he came back after a losing season and won 10 games, went 10-6, and they had to keep him. He never got along with the ownership. I think chemistry is important between the head coach and the staff and the front office. Yes. And I think Roseman and Sirianni have that rapport. That's from what I see from afar. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Mike,
yeah.
I want to ask you about your tight end who was ranked real high here by NFL executives. And I love this Jeremy Fowler thing. It's not like media turds like me that are putting these lists together. It's NFL executives, scouts, and what have you. And you got Bowers, number 1. You got McBride in Arizona, number 2. And you've got George Kittle, who I think is a little long in the tooth there at 32. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like the guy in Detroit, that Laporta guy they got. I believe he was from Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
You got Tucker Kraft and Colston Loveland.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, is he going down the line of one of the great tight ends that you guys have had in your franchise history?
Absolutely. I panned the pick, and then the guy just went bonkers. He had an injury early.
I thought he sucked too, Mike, at Michigan.
Well, you know what? And the reason was the fourth year, his quarterback left his senior year, and he went to Minnesota. And we saw what happens when a quarterback leaves. We see numbers drop when they bring in another quarterback. I will tell you this. I thought we had Cole Kmet. I didn't think we needed another guy. They bring up this guy, Colston Loveland, and then they basically decided that they had to got a phone call here. Forgot to shut off my phone. They got a guy named Colston Loveland who was 20. I just saw him ranked like 25th as a under top 25 guy. Yeah. Okay. And I saw Caleb Williams ranked as like the 7th guy under 25. I think at under 25, Colston Loveland is a safe pick. I would have put Caleb Williams back a little bit more. I'm hearing now he might be the best quarterback next year in the league. When he was 16th this year, he had some great come from behind wins in the fourth quarter. There's no doubt he's got a clutch gene, but the Chicago Bears have never made the Super Bowl 2 years in a. I mean, have never made the playoffs 2 years in a row, or even had a winning season 2 years in a row. So we're going to see what happens this year. I happen to think they're in a tough division with Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay. So it's anybody's game. But there's 5 or 6 teams that made the playoffs one year, and then the very next year don't. Why do I think the Bears might be one of those teams? Would you automatically pencil in the Chicago Bears for the playoffs? No way. No way. But in Chicago, they are, because they're a bunch of, we're the greatest, And you know what? You got to look at things, and you got to try not to show favoritism, which I've done my whole career, and I've been mostly right about the Chicago Bears. But I wasn't enamored with Caleb Williams, and I wasn't enamored with Colston Loveland, and guess what? I was wrong. So maybe this is a new beginning where I'm going to be wrong more than right, because I was right about Justin Fields. He sucked. Yep. Okay, I've been right about most any quarterback they've ever picked up. And I've been right about where they were going to finish in the standings most of the time. Last year, I was pleasantly surprised.
I'm going to ask you here then. He's going to be eligible for a contract extension in 2027. That means at the end of this year, Caleb Williams will be eligible for a contract extension. Mike, is Caleb Williams a $63 million a year player?
Is Dak Prescott a $55 million player on a better football team?
No, what? No, is he a $60 million a year player? No.
But they get it. But they get it. I just saw an NBA player signed the other day, 4 years at $217 million. Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
I saw a $30 million a year player win a Super Bowl last year. Why would I spend 60 on Caleb Williams?
Well, because you wanted to have a future.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. Why would you think Philadelphia would rather have him and spend $60 million for the next 5 years, or would they rather have Jalen Hurts?
Why haven't they given him an extension then? Because he's eligible for it.
Well, it's not ready yet. PCA got one. Everybody questioned Pete Crow Armstrong of the Cubs. He got a 6-year extension this year after only playing 1 year with the Cubs, and everybody's going, wait a minute. And now he's challenging Ohtani for MVP of the league.
Nicole Lynn asked for a contract extension with Philly, and Philly said, we're going to kick the can down the road. Okay. So, I mean,
I don't know who that is, and I don't know why I should value that.
That's from Clutch Sports. That's her agent or Nicole Lynn is his agent. And he's been eligible now for this year here for a contract extension.
Who are we talking about now?
Jalen Hurts. And the Eagles have not given him a contract extension.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. If you guys don't want him.
No. I'm just saying what they're doing. I'm not.
Well, what do you think they should do? Because I remember you screaming for Tanner McKee last year.
I never said that.
I was sitting right here. You guys were ready to go.
I have never said bench.
How did I know who he was?
Dude, I have never in my entire life, anybody watching my show said bench him, ever.
Well, wait, you've been panicking.
Howard Eskin said that.
Okay, who was your backup last year?
Was Tanner McKee.
Okay, so if you're down on Hurts and you had to look at Tanner McKee.
I don't think Tanner McKee's the answer either.
Well, no, because we saw him play last year.
I don't think he's the guy.
No, he's not. And you know what? If you thought he was the guy, I'd commit you.
I I don't. As a matter of fact, I've had people say this to me. Do you think that Jalen Hurts should get the full? And I'm like, yeah, he should get the full year. But the guy's earned every cent of an opportunity to do whatever he wants. He'll have very little guaranteed money this year. That's why going into this coming off season here, he was eligible for the extension. Now they decided to kick the can down the road because
what does that mean? How much time does he have before, or do they have before they can sign an extension?
They could sign an extension right now.
I'm talking about when do they need to?
Oh, they have him. They have him for. I think they can get out in 28.
Okay, but if he's playing and you guys are 7-1 this year, are you telling me they're not going to extend him?
I looked it up. I found out that Howie really doesn't give in-season contract extensions or extensions past April. Okay. So now he may change the room because it's a different position, Mike, and it's $63 million. They may change the room and do that. So
I don't think there's a quarterback in the league almost worth $60 million. I don't think
Mahomes is.
Who is?
I think Mahomes is.
I wouldn't give him 6. I don't know about now, but I will tell you. There's people telling me. I heard a guy the other day say, "Well, do you think that Mahomes is going to have struggles this year?" He'll never have struggles, but Mahomes, and I think Mahomes got that money, didn't he? He has some ownership.
They restructured his deal, but you got to remember, Mahomes won Super Bowls with Juju Smith-Schuster.
And who did Jalen Hurts win Super Bowls with?
A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
And where's A.J. Brown?
A.J. Brown, well, we're going to find out how good he is without him, aren't we?
Well, why did they get rid of him and keep Jalen Hurts and Barkley?
Hey, I can't.
You know why? I told you last year he was a cancer, and they had to get rid of him. Okay. You knew that.
We're going to have a segment every Monday on how that's working out because I want to see. So do you think a quarterback his responsibility, Mike, in your opinion, is when you lose a guy like an AJ or a Tyreek Hill or a Stephon Diggs, it's that quarterback's responsibility to elevate his game, right?
Yeah, but it's not the responsibility for him to be yelled at by a guy who drops. You're talking about losing to San Francisco. Who dropped 3 passes in that game?
Okay.
I mean, I'm just being fair about this. I mean, we can tailor any conversation. I've been doing this for 35 years. Jaylen Browns was a dog in that game.
Hey,
and he caused a sideline eruption.
There's no question about it. He was third least in drops last year in 25. And that game, though, was a personifying moment for him when it came to his attitude all year long. That was awful all year.
And you'll be the first to attest from day one with you last year. I said the big problem on that team was A.J. Brown. I was consistent all year long. I hung out with Hurts, and I think the guy that escaped any criticism was Barkley.
Don't you find it odd, though, after he's left, not one person on the Philadelphia Eagles has attacked A.J. Brown and him being wrong about some of the things that were wrong in the passing game?
Well, why would they? Why are you going to put it out there? Why would you decide to? I think the Philadelphia Eagles told everybody what they think of A.J. Brown. They said, go ahead with Drake May. We're gonna win. We're gonna make the playoffs without him.
Okay.
And I said, that's what they're saying. We believe. Howie Roseman believes that Devontae Smith is a pedigree, a non-problem, a great player. I didn't think that a guy 180 pounds in this game could last. And he has.
I've been proven wrong there too on that.
Yeah. I mean, we give 1,000 opinions a week, me and you.
Yep.
And we're going to be wrong. I think you and I
wrong on that.
I think you and I have been right most of the time when it comes to breaking down either the Eagles or the Bears. And I just am. I don't think. I think they're going to be relieved to go to camp and not hear his big mouth.
I agree. I think sometimes, Mike, when you get rid of that kind of angst, I think that smooths. I think it's fun. You know this, Mike, when you go to work every day and everything is like, you're on pins and needles, and all of a sudden you go to work and it's fun again, and you enjoy going to work. I mean, it makes it a lot more enjoyable, and you want to work harder when you got things that are around you when it's more convenient to go to work like that. Nobody likes going to work with assholes.
No.
And I completely agree with you here.
Well, you know what? It depends what kind of asshole you are. If you're an asshole that wants your people to do the right thing,
like Brady.
Yeah, if you're an asshole, there's a lot of guys that want you to be held accountable. If you're that type of asshole, you're not really an asshole. The people that don't work hard will call you an asshole for holding them accountable. I think A.J. Brown was a piece of crap last year for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't care how many passes he didn't drop during the regular season. He opened up his big trap, his big mouth, then got in an argument on the sidelines, caused a problem, and don't tell me that's not a distraction, folks, okay? Because if somebody yells at a corporate office now, they want to write them up, okay? So the nonsense that this guy, okay, was even thought about being kept. When I read that, I told my wife, I go, I'm on every week with my buddy Danny, and I cannot believe they're going to keep this piece of crap, and they got rid of him.
Mike, I think you're kicking ass today here, man.
Again?
Wait, Mike. I'm trying to give you. You're not.
Oh no.
You know what?
My mom said
you're too experienced at this.
My mom told me if I would have finished my high school, I could have been a lawyer. Yeah,
No, Mike. Listen, I'm a professional at this.
I know you are.
I'm telling you, man. You're as good as it gets here.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey, you think your Bears though? Do you think they take a step back? And now follow me here. Do you think they take a step back, but yet they're going to be maybe more seasoned and better next year? But the division is better.
Wow.
I mean, you don't know what Kyler Murray's going to bring. I don't know what he's going to bring. That team was 9-8 with crappy quarterback play. Now, I'm not saying Kyler Murray's going to go in there. All of a sudden, this guy's going to be Fran Tarkenton. But what I'm saying is that they might be an upgrade of a football team because J.J. McCarthy stunk. So that division itself, you think they take a step back, or do you think they can finish in last place?
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now, and I don't think we were ever on the street corner back in the day, Danny, me and my buddies, and we didn't make the playoffs. Yeah, but they were more seasoned this year. You know what I mean? We don't go for that. You either make the playoffs or you don't. I don't want to hear that crap. And so I think they could take a step back. I don't care how good they are. You don't make the playoffs, you're taking a step back, and Ben Johnson is your head coach. Now, Detroit, everybody's crowing about Detroit. Be careful there because they are the overwhelming choice, it seems, to win that division. And, I'm not as concerned about Green Bay or Minnesota. I'm really not. Kyler Murray, look, they blew it with Sam Darnold. They didn't believe it. And then he goes somewhere else. And this,
in Minnesota.
That he did that they got rid of a quarterback that went 14-3. And you wanted to change things up, and you drafted JJ, and someday he may be, who knows, a good quarterback, but it was unfair for him to follow up on a team with a quarterback that put together a record like they did. And then he goes over there. And by the way, folks, and this goes for the fans in the bleachers, I'm charging now. Listen to this. This goes for the people, okay, that didn't believe in Sam Darnold, and we were just talking about him, and Dan and I know this, I don't even have to have known Dan. He thought he was a dog, and I thought he was. And in fact, the whole nation thought he was, and so that's basically what.
Mike, he was on Carolina, the Jets, the Niners, Minnesota, Seattle. You're talking about a guy in 2018 was on 5 teams.
Sounds like I knew a guy that went to 5 different schools, but he went over the span of 8-9 years. I didn't know anybody it's unbelievable.
It's like Stephon Diggs on, like you say all the time, on Thanksgiving. That's a lot of turkeys you got.
Well, Stephon Diggs, Thanksgiving's busy for him, as you know. He's got a lot of things going on. Got kids all over the country. Got to fly around. He gets frequent flyer miles off just the places he lands on Thanksgiving.
Wait, Mike, I have something here. This is hang on. This is breaking news. You ready?
Yeah.
Spain has beat Belgium. What? Mike, the World Cup. Spain is now advancing. What do you make of the?
Let me tell you a little story. I saw Fox, a tweet by Fox Sports yesterday or the day before. I had to retweet it and bury them. We're so amazed. 30 million people. 30 million. Okay, there's 360 million people in this country, which means one thing to me. 330 didn't give a damn, okay? And then people go, well, how about, and then they're comparing it to an NFL divisional playoff game, okay? Where the Super Bowl, well, you know what? The finals does great. See, they try to tailor everything. Look, soccer's the only game you can play when you're 4, okay? You can't play baseball. You can't play football. You can't play hockey, and you can't play basketball. But when you're 4, Jimmy can shit in his pants and score a goal at the same time. And by the way, it's the only game where you don't need arms. Okay? You can run around and you don't need arms, and you can be the greatest. Now, you may need it for a little balance. And then they're trying to compare. Do you honestly believe? People honestly believe. Look at 30 million after a year and a half of shoving it down our throat. Fox Sports, Fox Sports 1, Fox Deportes, thousands, hundreds of radio stations, all the top podcasts, Barstool, everybody. This is the greatest. And then I see guys. I saw a guy the other day in a soccer jersey, okay? And there's some guys you can, like Clay Travis played soccer in high school. And, okay, I'll buy him. I'm not going to mention a name, but I saw a guy in a soccer jersey just at the beginning of this show about how he's into it. We have so many hypocrites in the media business. It is sad. And if they talk soccer more than 10 minutes, they wouldn't be in the media business. That's the end of the story. And this nonsense that it's good. I heard from Lee Stern. We won a championship in the 80s with a team called the Chicago Sting. And I hit him on the radio in the 90s. And he says, by the year he sounded like Al Gore with the climate change. By the year 2005, soccer is going to be the #1 sport.
Never.
And Lee's still around, I believe. And Lee was wrong. It sucks. It's a boring sport. And then they go, it's great around the world. Okay. I'm supposed to value what they think in Paraguay? I'm supposed to value what they think it's. We are the world. We are the children. We're the United States of frickin' America. Are you people out of your mind? You all got jobs here because of the 4 major sports. Am I right or wrong? We got nothing but topics every day. I'm going to talk about the Cubs tomorrow. I'm going to talk about the Sox tomorrow. This World Cup thing has been nauseating. I've watched exactly no minutes of it, except what I see on Twitter. None. And I'm proud of myself because I'm not a phony, period.
Would you make it a president getting involved with it? And
garbage. Should have stayed out of it because I'm going to tell you, I'm a Trump guy. I don't care, you know? And if you want to yell at me, go ahead. That's big. Because that doesn't affect me at all. My mom used to yell at me for being late for dinner. I don't give a damn, and that's what I equate this to. I'm going to tell you right now, I like Donald Trump. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? You want to win the World Cup so you can take the bow. I understand, okay? But that was the wrong thing to do, to put the target on one of the youngest teams in soccer, okay? Playing a team that already beat them 5-2. And you thought you needed that player who did nothing, okay, and did commit the foul. And by the way, it is still a red flag, and it's on probation. And that, by the way, I saw the guy that runs soccer, Trump's got him on a leash after that. Because, we did the World Cup. And a president calling up and changing a decision, it was a mistake. He's made 2 major mistakes the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And that's one of them, and we won't get into the other one.
Yeah, man, I'm with you on this, Mike. You know what Mike? You know what I really tried? Because I like the Olympics, and I like here. I'll tell you why, Mike. I like the nationalism, and I like seeing the American flag, and I like the national.
I do too, but I could see it outside my house.
Yeah, but wait, I like it being played, and I love seeing athletes put their hands.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And I like that. Look, I don't give a shit about curling, and I don't give a shit about skeet shooting and none of that stuff.
Now, that's a shame because those are my 2 favorites in the Olympics.
what I do like? I did like seeing the athletes with their hands over their hearts singing the national anthem, and they're, being respectful of the country. I know that that's really odd for people to see because they don't really see that anymore. And I really kind of like that stuff. But for me, I'm with you, Mike. I said this. Look, dude, I don't get the flopping. I think it's nauseating.
Yep.
There's like a lot of walking going on.
Yeah.
I go, and man, I'll tell you, Mike, I tried. And I tell people I'm as transparent. I don't know shit about the rules. And I don't want to know shit about the rules. I don't really care. But I love the nationalism. And I really tried. And then when I saw them go out there and shit the bed, they could have put Pele out there. Trump could have called Pele in, and it wouldn't have mattered. And I just was like, for not showing up, dude, don't ever tell me soccer's going to be good. For 50 years, I've heard people say, wait 4 years from now, 4 years from now. Mike, you know who they are? They're Northwestern. That's who.
Wait a minute. We made a Rose Bowl in the 90s.
Okay, I'll take that back. You're right. You're Evanston, Illinois.
Well, you know what? The politics is right. I'll tell you that in the World Cup because I just see nonsense. And look, there's 4 major changes that they'd have to make for me to even consider them. Okay. One, quit saying it's the most, it may be the most popular sport in the world, but I don't give a crap what Egypt thinks.
I don't.
Okay. And then the ratings, I hear 8 billion people are going to watch. Okay. 8 billion. Okay. Prove to me in the Congo who's watching the game. I want to know. And then take me. Okay. Because here's the deal.
The Congo.
I think that's an old phrase.
No, it's a probe. It works.
Yeah, it works. But let me tell you something. The main thing is when it's in the United States and only 10% of the population watches, I'll give the rest of the world this. There won't only be 10% watching in those countries. You know why? Because they don't have hockey. They don't have baseball. If they had the sports we have and they had started with the sports we have, I'm convinced that soccer would be down. But here's the problem. What's the second most popular sport in these other countries? It's probably a lot of places cricket.
Yeah.
If they decide to have a cricket World Cup, I will see the fools, many of them on media here in the United States going, this is the greatest. I have a wicket, and I've had it since yesterday.
Wicket.
Yeah, I think they call it a wicket.
All right.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What is the second most popular sport? Okay. A motorcycle jumping over the Thames River?
I kept pointing out, I saw like 10 million, 13, 14 million. And I went, yeah, but I could tune out a Big Ten game or a Southeastern Conference game every Saturday. And I could see I could see Penn State, Ohio State with 18 million fans watching that game at any that's a Saturday in the Big Ten, isn't it?
I was on a show. Guy goes to me, look at how they're filling up the stadiums. I go, the Savannah Bananas fill up a stadium in this country. I don't want to hear. And you know what the guy did? They fill up the stadium, but more than soccer. You give me 10 teams in soccer, okay? 5 games, and give me 10 games or 5 games with the Savannah Bananas, 5 different Savannah Banana teams, and they'll outdraw soccer. That's what my opinion is. We're the United States of America. I don't pretend to like anything Ethiopia likes, okay? Or Canada or anything else. I'm an American kid, grew up in America. I kicked a soccer ball once, and I said, this blows, because it went down the alley and I had to chase it, and enough is enough.
Oh, my God, Mike. You're on a heater today.
I'm always on a heater. I've had enough.
I got one for you. Ready for this?
Just keep giving them to me because I'm here all night long like Lionel Richie.
I'll tell you what, man. You're sitting on the edge today, and I love it. All right, Mike, here's one. How about getting the opportunity to potentially have the Chicago Bears go after Terron Arnold? Did you hear what the judge said today? The judge said today, he goes, there's just not sufficient evidence that this guy here is going to be guilty. And on top of that, guess what he did today? He took a physical for the Houston Texans. And he's got 7 other teams right now that he's going to be taking physicals for. And the judge, even in the case, is saying the evidence in this case is just not there. And so he's going to play.
Look, we have a court system in this country.
Correct.
We're on TV. We saw a guy just talking to kids get shot in the neck, and we can't even get it to trial. It's nothing but a mess. Everybody in America knows the kid did it.
That's terrible.
He basically should have. He could hold up a sign saying, "I guess I did do it. I signed a confession." It's self-indicting everything that he did, and we're playing this game. There's guys dying in death row, 27 years after they ruined a family by killing a kid. So I don't want to hear about. I don't want any bad apples that could possibly destruct a young upcoming team, maybe like the Chicago Bears. I don't care. There's plenty of players that can fill a role, and there's plenty of players in America. And is he going to be all that good? I don't know.
But Mike, then why doesn't I agree with you, by the way. I think that a locker room should stand for something, or you would fall for everything. And I do believe there should be something in there. Well, why doesn't the NFL have that then? If the NFL, if the only thing, get this, the only thing you can't do is gamble, according to Brendan Sorsby. Outside of that, if you do anything else, you get the opportunity at second redemption and get a chance to play again. Michael Vick is a great example of this. Why doesn't the NFL just stand up and say, we're not taking bad apples into our league?
We got a guy making, and I'll give you another sport real quick, then I'll get back to you. We got a guy named Alex Bregman, 5 years, $150 million playing for the Cubs. He should have been banned from baseball for helping fix the World Series in 2017. Instead, he jumps around Boston, Cubs, and making millions of dollars. And people are supposed to like him. And I'm absolutely thrilled he's having a miserable year. But he got a no-trade clause from the Cubs for a 5-year deal. Okay? And in the meantime, they didn't bid on a good kid like Kyle Schwarber. Okay? They didn't bid on him, and the Phillies gave him 5 years at 150, less than Bregman. And Schwarber hit 56 homers last year, had 132 RBIs, and the kiss asses in baseball think Ohtani's the only guy that played the game last year because Schwarber didn't get one first-place vote for MVP, for 56 home runs and 132 RBIs. Yeah, but he can't pitch. Well, then give it to him every year. Give it to him every year. So that's my take on things. You know what? Everybody has a difference of opinion.
I would think Ohtani's overrated.
No, but I think that the play. I think the media kisses his ass. Jordan never won 3 MVPs in a row. Yet Ohtani is a DH, and as a losing gambler his first year, or whenever he left the Angels, he had 59 games as a DH. And they gave him the MVP. He didn't even pitch that year, and he didn't, but he played the field. This year, Pete Crow Armstrong right now should be the MVP because what he does is he plays, he bats, and then he runs out and saves runs in the field while Ohtani's in the batting cage playing half a game, and he's pitching. I'm afraid they're going to give him the Cy Young at 8-2 with 85 innings.
Oh, Mike, if that guy continues and he wins 16 ball games this year and he pitches and he's at a 1 or 2 ERA, he's going to win the Cy Young Award.
You know who he is to me? Kevin Durant. You know why? He left the Angels. He ran because he knew as good as he is, he couldn't help them or he couldn't win with them. While Trout has made $380 million in his career and he hasn't played 100 games in 5 of the last 7 years, and he stays there to lose. So I'll give Ohtani this. At least he left, but he knew he wanted to go to the Dodgers. And I would ask everybody this. If Pete Crow Armstrong isn't on the Cubs, because he's the best player in baseball right now all around, they're nowhere to be sniffed right now, even with that high payroll. If Ohtani's not on the Dodgers, they're still got a shot at 95 to 100 wins with that lineup. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. So Ohtani ran from the Angels. Then he loses like $20-30 million, and they got a poor kid doing 57 months in prison, and he'll get paid for doing it. Okay, because he'll get out early, plus he'll make bucks, just like Barry Bonds' trainer did. Okay, so I know the game. I grew up on the streets. I know that the investigation for Ohtani lasted 25 minutes while Rose's was 24/7. Okay, I know the game. If that would have been the biggest scandal ever. I mean, I even saw his wife and a puppy. They brought him out the next day, and I've never seen her since because she was probably a private person. But they said, "Hey, we're in big trouble. We got to get the guy out here." So, I just am fed up with all the BS with what used to be. If you did something wrong, you paid the price.
That's right.
I mean, the Black Sox were found not guilty, and you know what baseball did? You're banned.
So
we don't care.
Do you think Bonds paid off Greg Anderson?
Do you think he didn't?
I do think he did.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Why would Greg Anderson take a fall? Because he was guilty, number one, and because you know what? He's going to get, and he probably got paid. Otherwise, he could have ruined well, Bonds' legacy's ruined with me anyway. I mean, I'll hear the same thing. Should Bonds be in the Hall of Fame? I have an adage. Anybody that thinks Sammy Sosa, who should have been in the Cub Hall of Fame, I won't do business with because they're condoning cheating. They're condoning cheating. If you think what Bonds did was okay, but you want to go halvesies with me in a bar, I won't trust you.
Even though baseball didn't have a steroid record then, or steroid policy.
Well, there was no speed limit so either when cars first started. I mean, this was brand. And you want to know something? You brought up Goodell. Okay. He's had 8 controversies in his tenure. I don't want to hear he deserves to make 44 to 50 to 60 million dollars.
70, Mike.
Yeah. And by the way, the Ray Rice situation, he should have been let go for that. He didn't even have a human resources department. They didn't even have a what do they call that? I almost said sex clinic. That wouldn't have been the right term. He didn't even have a sexual policy, orientation.
Sexual misconduct, right?
Yeah, he didn't have none of that. For that alone, and that kind of money, he should have been let go. And then, who does he punish the most in his tenure? Tom Brady? Because there was an ounce of error out of his football? You got to be kidding me, man.
By the way, the salary for Goodell is $64 million.
Yeah.
And by the way, ready for this?
Yeah.
He is the highest paid non-owner in pro football, and he gets something the players never get. You know what that is? Lifetime benefits.
You want to know something?
For he and his family, and the players do not.
Listen, I did some stuff for the NFL Network for 2 years. Okay? Those top 10s.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy loved me. The guy that hired me. And he was a former Chicago guy. And whenever there was a Bear thing, you can see me on some of the NFL Network.
I have.
Yeah, and they Dick Butkus. And I was as good as anybody they had because they'd bring on some of the stiffs in town too and other guys that were good. Okay? And I called Goodell after about the fourth or fifth controversy. He's no worse than the head of the mafia, for God's sake. He's a scumbag. Okay? Never got called again. And I didn't care.
Wow. Mike, I got one last one for you. The greatest player in NBA history has a decision to make. Does he play in Golden State?
Well, Jordan retired. Jordan retired.
To Philly?
This just in, Michael Jordan retired.
Wait, or does he go to Miami and go back and play for Pat Riley and Giannis? And that is the legendary LeBron James.
Yeah. You know what? It's a shame what's happened to his legacy, isn't it? What the hell? You know what? As soon as he was off kilter in Miami, remember the conversation?
Yes.
I've decided to take my talents to Miami. And
I was down there at WQAM when this all happened.
I said to my wife, here's a guy that wanted to be courted because he didn't go to college and he's going to just derail everything.
Oh, like a recruiting trip. He wanted to be being recruited.
Right. And that's what he did. And now, he could put up 80,000 points. What? I don't care. I mean, because I think I could score 10 in this NBA now, and I'm 73 years old. I think I could score 10 points a game with the defense they play.
Mike, I started some shit this last week.
No.
With the LA Times and when I was on my sports show, and you tell me if you believe this. So I'm friends with JJ Redick when he was on the Orlando Magic. I like him. He's a good dude, whatever. So he texts me and he goes, "Did you really start that shit?" And I go, "Well, this is what I said." So I talked to Steve Fisher. Remember him? He was the head basketball coach at Michigan.
Steve Fisher was a hell of a basketball coach, man. And he went, and then he went out to New Mexico.
No, San Diego State. Went to San Diego State.
I'm sorry. That's right.
And get this. Mm-hmm. So here's what went down. So he goes, Rob Pelinka was on that Fab Five team. I said, yeah, he was one of the white guys sitting on the bench. I said, yeah. I go, yes. He goes, right. Well, get this. I said this, and this is why they pushed him out of Los Angeles once they gave Reeves that max deal. I went and I said, well, I heard that Clutch Sports and Maverick Carter went to Pelinka and said, we want $50 annually a year for the next 2 years. Get this, for the next 2 years. And they wanted a ceremonial parade on the way out.
Uh-huh.
And you know what's been reported? Rob Pelinka says, who do you think you are, Kobe Bryant?
That's true.
And that pissed off LeBron, and LeBron said, I'm out.
That's good.
They pushed him out.
Absolutely. But you know what? They both got out of it without really tearing each other up. JJ Redick, I will tell you.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
For JJ Redick to make a comment that the older basketball players were plumbers compared to today's players was one of the most ignorant statements I've ever heard a major NBA talent say, because Wilt Chamberlain craps bigger than 95% of these guys, and so did Jordan, so did Joe Dumars would be a bigger star in today's game. Bob Cousy was as good as Isaiah Thomas.
That's the guy he ripped and said he played against plumbers.
That was such a tasteless, useless comment, okay, from a kid, a young man, and I told him it, and he saw it. And I'm not going to back down from that. I know the history of the game, and to besmirch everybody that played and built that league so you can live good and be the overrated head coach that you are.
Mike, you can't rip decades. I mean, guys.
Well, and then you can't
be. That's like saying Dicka's not as important to the NFL today as Ditka was when he played. Not Dicka. I meant to say Butkus. Butkus is just as important to the NFL today and more so important than Ray Lewis, because this guy was the first guy. And even when football was different, Mike, guys weren't as fast, guys weren't as big. That's irrelevant.
Well, no, Butkus knew where the ball was going.
Relevant to the decade that they played in.
Did you ever hear of Nose for the Football? Of course you did. Yeah, Butkus knew. He knew. He was waiting for you. He didn't have to be Brian Urlacher and run 20 yards to chase you down.
I never subscribed to that where you go, well, Ray Lewis is the better. I go, that's not the case. That's not how you look.
Well, I'll give you an example.
Michael Jordan is the greatest example of it. Jordan goes, are you greater than Julius Erving? Are you greater than the Big O? He goes, it's impossible for me to sit there and say that I'm better than those guys.
Yeah, but you know who does say it? Two guys have emerged.
Yeah, LeBron
from the black players in the league. Okay, the guys that talk trash and everything, Xavier McDaniel, Kevin Garnett, other players like that, the two players that were cutthroat that could play in any era, Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. Now,
agreed.
Basketball is the kind of game where you can play could have played in the 80s like Isaiah Thomas and dominate today.
Same with starting pitching. Starting pitching in the 1920s is no different than starting pitching today in baseball.
I heard a tasteless comment from Stephen A. Smith. I have never played the race card when it comes to sports. And I heard him say there'd never be 3 white players that would lead the league, that would lead a team to a basketball championship. Okay, and there's an argument to be made. Well, that happened with the 86 Celtics with Ainge. You can depend what you want, Dennis Johnson or Ainge, McHale, and Bird.
Well, shit, the guy in Denver just did it.
Yeah, but he didn't have 2 other white guys with him. Here's my case.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
because the people are so scared of Stephen A. Smith, okay, I would like to say this to him. The last time, and I want him to know this, I want him to absolutely know this, there will never be three black players to ever lead three black American players to ever lead a Major League Baseball team to a pennant. The last team to do that was the 1979 Pirates. Al Oliver, Willie Stargell, you know, they had three, and that was the We Are Family team. That was 46 years ago. Now, what do you think would have happened?
Parker was on that team too, right?
Who?
Parker was on that team too.
Yeah, I mean, they were loaded. It was a mostly black team, so I know it was the three top players. I will also say this to Stephen Smith. There will never be three black finalists in pro bowling in the finals, okay? There will never be three black NASCAR drivers finish 1, 2, and 3. I mean, you want to play that game? I'll play it, and I'll play it good. I'll play it real good.
I want to sneak this one in on. You ready?
I love when you sneak stuff in and you tell me ahead of time.
I got it. Here it is. What do you make of the Caitlin Clark stuff?
Oh, it's abuse. It's today I saw where Dan Patrick was told all day long yesterday. And Danny, it's good to talk to you again. We had a great friendship for about years ago, and I'm happy he's doing well. He's on his. He's going to be retiring soon. We got hammered one night at Dueling Pianos with Bill Parcells and Jerry Jones, you know, and in New Orleans. But Caitlin Clark, I love Sophie. I loved her standing up for her teammate. Caitlin Clark is one not to finish 11th in the All-Star voting for guard, to not be on the poster. It's about race. It's about a lot of political things. The commissioner was supposed to be on Dan Patrick's show, and she promised all day long. They never got a call yesterday. They're out in Tahoe. She's golfing. She was going to be on. And the commissioner actually said of the WNBA, I've been advised by the public relations staff of the WNBA not to come on your show. She's gutless. She's an enabler to this.
Kathy Engelbert.
She's a horrible leader. Okay. She shouldn't lead anything. She shouldn't lead a Girl Scout troop. I'm telling you right now, period, end of story.
That's crazy, Mike, that she wouldn't like. And Dan Patrick, like you said, man, I've gone back.
He's a fair guy.
Listen, I've texted him and I'm like, I guess what they did was when this whole thing blew up, they reached out to the WNBA office. And you know what they said? We don't have anybody available. And you're like, how do you not have anybody available? You want to be covered like a mainstream sport. And this is what even like you saw Candace Parker say, this is now becoming obnoxious here that, you know what? Are you that afraid of the black women players that are on the WNBA that you're so bad to offend? You're now getting black WNBA legendary players going, what are you afraid of here?
Yeah.
You're now getting everyone going, she's 11th in voting. Get this, Mike. She's 3rd in scoring. She's 2nd in assists. No team has scored more than 94 points in 17 years in that league. And you're telling me she's no impact?
Let me ask you this.
By the way, she plays in front of sold-out arenas like she's Michael Jackson.
Everybody knows this except the league. Everybody, and if the league wasn't subsidized by, and the NBA must be standing by going, well, we're partners with you, I guess this is okay. Let me tell you this, it's the equivalent, but this was the difference, and you brought this up the other day. Women are not conditioned to have to fight on a basketball court. One player nobody messed with, and you can ask anybody, and I just brought him up, Larry Bird. If Larry Bird would have been a meeker type of player and wouldn't have stood up to the Jabars and the Xavier McDaniels and every other black player in the league, and the Lambeers and the Dr. J's, he would have gotten the same treatment probably.
Yeah.
And you know what? People would have been going, what are they doing? What are they doing? Why are they doing it?
Michael Jordan got his ass kicked by the Pistons and by the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the game was played like that at the time.
But Mike, he got his ass.
Oh yeah, he was assaulted.
I had to prepare my body. Don't you think a little bit on that on her also? She's also got to prepare herself a little bit more. If you're going to be, Mike, you can't be given the face of the league. You've got to take that like MJ.
So in other words, you got to be ready to be bushwhacked. No matter what kind of shape she's in. I don't care what kind of shape you're in. Danny, if I sucker punch you from behind, or if I hit, I'm sorry. Hey, look, but he was in shape. He should have been able to take it. You know, what kind of crap is that? She's a basketball player.
The Pistons bullied him, though, for like 4 years. They were kicking his ass.
It's a man's, but there's a difference. And I'm sorry. I know the difference, folks, between a man and a woman, believe me. And men are, it's a macho sport. The NBA used to be a macho sport. It's soft now. You had to go through Anthony Mason, Xavier. I'll name you enforcers on every team they had. Oh, Maurice Lucas. I actually have tapes of NBA fights during games.
Hey,
Maurice Lucas and Daryl Dawkins.
Mike, I'm friends with Oakley. And I like Oak Tree, and he's like, yeah, I don't know if I'm playing in today's game. Mike, I'll tell you what today was, man.
Again?
Salty dog, and I loved it, man.
Was I really salty?
I don't know. I think we're going
You know what? I'm the same I've always been, and I'm not changing for nobody. And I don't, hey, I used to do, look, I've done shows in front of thousands, and I've done shows with me on the street corner. And I do, you know what? I used to play stadiums. Now I'm in theater in the round. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm Bob Crane after Hogan's Heroes, only without the
Yeah. That didn't end well.
Down. Yeah. Being down dead, naked, and beaten with a tripod isn't the way you want to go out.
It's not. Mike, I love you, and I can't wait to see you next week. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right, buddy. And hey, tell Xander he looked a little worn out. He's been married how long?
About 5 days.
He's exhausted. I'll see you later.
All
right.
That is my friend Mike North. Absolutely awesome stuff here. All right. Yeah, Xander's trying to get his sea legs back now. Hey, good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason, and it's because they win. With over $20 billion recovered, there is no firm like it, folks. Tell you about the family in Pennsylvania that was initially offered $650,000. They got nearly $30 million in settlement. The family down in Florida, they got $350K. They got $12 million in settlement. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
Yeah! There's a reason the Karate Master was the #1 salesman in the lumber department.
Karate.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
You guys want to hear something cool? So it just got confirmed. Tuesday, Doug Peterson is on here. On Saturday, Dabo Sweeney is going to be on my Sports Grid show. So next couple days, we got some pretty cool dudes coming up. We're going to start ramping it up as we get closer next week. I think Arizona, Seattle, and the 49ers. Guys, my friends in the 49ers, I think they report to training camp next week. So, yeah, I mean, dude, we're here. Okay, we are definitely here. Charles Oakley was a bad man. He went to the other team's practice and slapped a player. Facts, he was dog for talking shit. He was on my Sports Grid show. I'm very good friends with Charles Oakley. I've been friends with him a long time. I actually got a cookbook from him, and was really great. Yo, my cousin lost his fucking pink. Let's see here. Go to WIP where they have 50 commercials if you don't like the one we Let's see here. Sweeney is one of the most overrated college football coaches in the country and a big-time crybaby. Well, let's take a look at what Dabo Sweeney has done in his coaching career. Dabo Sweeney. You say he's overrated. Well, let's take a look at that. So Dabo Sweeney has won 183 games and lost 53. He is the 3-time Coach of the Year, 2-time Associated Press Coach of the Year. Let's see here. He has won, let's see, how many? 2 national championships, 16 and 18. Name me another coach in football right now. Joe's like, I love commercials. Really, Joe? Name me another coach in college football currently coaching right now with more than 2 national titles. I don't know how many Kirby has. Kirby might have 3. Ryan Day's got 2. Who else has more than 2 national titles? ACC? He's got 2 national titles, dude. Let's see the current coaches with the most national titles. Let's see. ACC. Well, he beat SEC teams to win the national title. Okay. Current college coach, active with most national titles. Most football national titles. That would be current coach. My bad. Coach. That would be Dabo Sweeney and Kirby Smart are tied with the most national titles. They have 2 each. And he's overrated? I mean, guys won 2 national titles. I just like to talk football, listen to sports. That's it. Good job, James. Good me too, man. Kirby has 1? I thought Kirby had no. Kirby's got 2, dude. He won back-to-back national titles at Georgia. He should have 3. But they jobbed him because they got beat by 4 points or 3 points in that SEC title game by Alabama, if you remember right. And he should have went and had a chance to coach for the national title for 3 years in a row. I got it, but as I said, current. Tell you what, Sweeney knows how to recruit linemen. He sure does. One thing, though, that I'll say that I think he's fallen off the map a little bit on is that he let Nil get ahead of him. And he let Nil get ahead of him, and he didn't want to pay kids. Now he's got to turn. And by the way, they got a shitload of money at Clemson. Clemson should not be a 9-10 win football team. I love Dabo. I'm really good friends with him. He's been on this show 3 times. I mean, we've had Dabo on 3 times. So going by the Jalenite rules, Danny Sweeney is better than Nick Saban. But now they say he is overrated, especially the way they say Jalen beat Mahomes head-to-head. Dabo Sweeney is not overrated. I think Ryan Day is not that great a coach. But I think Kirby Smart's a really good coach and a really good recruiter. Hell, take a look at the Georgia Eagles. Sweeney didn't want to have to pay players this season. He said, fuck it. Expending for the nil now. Yes, that's exactly what's happened. That's exactly what's happened. I'm working on that. Says I would love for you to get Jason Taylor on and what he's done for the Miami defense. Oh, by the way, we do have another topic in here. So, do you think if the Eagles lost Vic Fangio and Clint Hurt, do you guys think that would affect the Eagles? Yes, he is. Sills, you really think Carter's getting traded away, or is Howie signing him or letting JC play out this year? Senor, I looked it up prior to coming on the program. He's never signed a player in July, August, or September to a contract extension, Howie Roseman. Ever. So, now, that could change. He always traditionally gives it contract extensions in April and May. So, I mean, Seals, can you get Butch Davis back on at some point? The way he got talent through those sanctions was genius. No. I'll show you what he did. You tell me on what kind of coaching talent Butch Davis, my coach, Butch Davis, who I love. You guys, Butch Davis recruited these players at Miami Hurricanes. And you tell me, Butch Davis. And I'll give you the list. So when Butch took over, here are the players that he recruited. Okay? Ed Reed, Reggie Wayne, Ray Lewis, Frank Gore, Willis McGahee, Edgerrin James, as I said. Jesus criminy. Look at the list of players. I mean, the Andre Johnson. Like I said, Ray Lewis, Jeremy Shockey, Warren Sapp, Cortez Kennedy. Butch is one of the greatest recruiters of all time. Had an eye for talent, and Dave Wannstedt and him were just tremendous when it came to recruiting. Jeremy Shockey was great. Jimmy Graham was also another guy that he recruited. Bryant McKinney. Go down the list of a who's who. And he recruited them. And when Larry Coker got that 2000 team and that 21 team, Larry Coker was a puppet. You know what's crazy? Larry Coker left Miami, and he's the worst coach. He's the worst coach we've ever had, and he won 2 national titles. Here was his record, Larry Coker. This guy's like Nick Sirianni. Here's Larry Coker's record, and I think he's a bum. So when he was at Miami, he was 60-15 at UM. Won a national title. 12-0, 12-1, 11-2, 9-3, 9-3, and finally his magic started wearing off, and they knew he sucked. And he went 7-6, and they fired his ass. When he left, he went to UTSA 4-6, 7-5, 8-4, 4-8, 3-9. The guy stunk. But when you're surrounded by great talent and you're surrounded by really good players, yeah, you're going to win a shitload of games. You fired a head football coach who was 60-15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, 60-15, averaging 10 wins a season. In your first 3 years, you were 34-3. And you got fired. Why? Well, because you sucked. Clemson will wind up in the SEC. They'll wind up in the Southeastern Conference because they have money. Florida State will not. They don't have any money. Or they'd fire that bum they have there now. Mike Norvell, he sucks. Eye for talent is key. Dan Mullen from Mississippi State was great. And when he was at Florida, I thought he was a great recruiter. Do you think the Eagles are one of the best teams over the last 10 years in the NFL? I actually like that topic. Last 10 years? Here. Last 10 years. Last 10 years. Okay. Last 10 years with everything. So let's go here. Last 10 years. Chiefs with 118 wins. 3 Super Bowls and 5 appearances. The Eagles are third in wins, but they're second. 2 Super Bowls. They've won 101 games and have lost 63. By the way, the Chiefs are 118-47. The Eagles are 101-63-1. But I would put them second. I would put the Seahawks third. At 101 also. 63-1. I'd put the Patriots fourth. And I'd put the Bills. The Bills have won 105 games and 59 losses. My top 10 teams over the last 5 years would be Chiefs, Eagles, Seahawks, Patriots, and Bills. Those would be my top 5 teams. Let's see what the Ravens have done. Hang on here. Where's Baltimore? Last 10 years. I thought the Ravens aren't on this list. They got to be. But I'd say Bills over Ravens. But I could see the Ravens being there with the Bills. Packers have won 99 games. The Eagles have championships. They're 101-63-1. Saints are 92-73. The Cowboys are 96-68-1 in the last 10 years in the NFL. That's not terrible. That's actually pretty damn impressive. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think that the Patriots have been to 3 also with 2 wins. Let me see, last 10 years. Let's see here. Last 10 years, I think the Patriots have won 2 Super Bowls and been to 3. Let's see, double check that. Let's see here. Last 10 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. New England's won 1. In the last 10 years, New England's been to 1, 2, 3, 4 Super Bowls and 1, 2. So you'd probably put the Patriots above the Eagles. They've been to 4 Super Bowls in the last 10 years. Yeah, let me see. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. The Patriots have been to 1, 2, 3, 4 Super Bowls and 1, 2. The Eagles have been to 3 Super Bowls and 1, 2. The Rams have been to 2 Super Bowls and 1, 1. Kansas City's been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 3. So you'd probably put the Patriots up there a little higher. Says, you see that Tyler Hero and Bam got into a fight this morning at a hotel gym in Vegas? Probably bitching and arguing over if LeBron's coming down there. Let's pay some bills here. Our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America, for a reason. That is because they win. Folks, this will be the easiest decision you ever make in your life. Do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com. FOR/Big Sales or Pound Love 529. That's FORthepeople.com/Big Sales or Pound Love 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason the flappy, flaily, inflatable tube man dominated the dance-off.
Throw the money in the air. Throw the money in the air. Make it rain, count it up, put it there.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
I'll be watching that Conor McGregor-Mac Holloway 2 fight this weekend. I will be watching that here. Guys, I appreciate you very much. Next week, we're going to ramp it up because we're going to get closer now to the start of the college and the NFL season. Have a great weekend. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Please hit the like button. 2 to 6 on Monday, and we'll see you on the flip side.